Welcome to Simple Session 2025. We are coming to you live from Tallinn, Estonia right now, and the BMX qualifiers are about to get going. We're back in the Unibet Arena this year, and we have an absolute monster of a course which the riders are about to tear. It is gonna be huge. I'm James Strelfall, and joining me is Simple Session royalty. It's Daryl now.
Wow, I like the sound of that. Simple Session royalty. I am gonna take it, and I'm gonna run with it.
It's true.
That's very sweet of you to say. The only reason the reason I'll take that is because this is my 13th year being here, dude. And it's Simple Session 25. That's right. You guys know this is one of the biggest and best action sports events in the entire world, and it's an honor to be here on the mic with you, calling the shots.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge. It's a big event that we've got today, right? We've got 52 riders in 13 jams, 4 riders per jam. It is gonna be a big cut to make it through to finals today. Like, I think we're going to see some upsets because 15 guys, there's way more than 15 people I'd want to see in the finals. They're going to have 2 one-minute runs each, and the big point for today, right, is its overall impression. So both runs count. This isn't a best run count. You can throw one away. Both of them have to be of a standard that is going to get you into that final 15, right, Daryl?
Yeah, James, I'm going to just hit that point home so many times. It is an overall impression on this Nate Wessel design course. We're taking a look. You know Nate from being one of the best ramp builders in the world, and he definitely did not hold back. We'll talk about that, but let's look at some of our qualifiers.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're running through the list right now. So we're seeing obviously the full rider lineup. Basically break this down to every 4 riders is going to be in a different jam. So it's kind of like an organized jam, but it is runs, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're kind of going to run through. The riders aren't going to get a score after run 1. It's just going to keep going, and then they're going to get an overall score at the end. So the judges are kind of going to be discussing throughout. It's not like the judges are just punching numbers into a screen. It's going to be a full discussion between the judges as to what they've seen across both of the runs, and then they're going to figure it out from there. At the end of the jam, we will then get the scores and we'll see where people are at. Our jam number 1, though, is stacked to get things going. We've got Zenia Overchuk from Ukraine. We've got Saul Villar. We've got Christian Spons, and we have got Sims Savic. So it's going to be big to get us going. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, but right now we're taking a look at the screen. Those are your 4 judges. Closest to us, we have Dave Kleeworth. And then we have Marcus Wilke in Germany. You saw he put his hand up. On the far end, you see Van Homan raising his hands up. And then last but certainly not least is Bart de Jong. These 4 men are lifetime riders. They are industry icons, and they know a thing or two about judging a contest. They have judged every major event from the Olympics and beyond, so they are more than qualified to let us know what they're going to be looking for on the course. But in general, the rider wants to utilize the full 60 seconds. They want to put their tires on many obstacles on the course as possible, putting in big tricks, getting technical, and we'll break it down as we go along.
Yeah, the big thing for today, though, right? We always say this about qualifiers. This is a long broadcast. We've got like 3 hours of riding, so just sit back, chill, get involved in the live chat on the Simple Session YouTube channel, and be part of the community, because you guys at home watching right now are as much a part of this as everyone here that's riding and in the stadium too. We are getting going, though, with the Ukrainian 18-year-old Zenia Ovcharuk, who is gonna, basically send it. He's huge on kind of like the dirt scene, 1080s on dirt. Let's see what he can bring to the park here in Tallinn.
Big shout out to the Ukrainian rider right now dropping in. You see he's starting things off over a Doritos box jump 360. I believe that was 3 times with the handlebars, known as a triple truck driver. We're gonna need your help in the chat. If you thought that was 3 times around with the bars, please let us know. Hot hands coming back at us. Bar spin looking for a disaster stall. And right now, going for a Superman seat grab on the bubble. Now, James, he's on the elevated section of the course. Nate Wessel designed this and kind of broke it down into 2 separate sections. There's the street section where he is focused on right now, and then you can see there's unique transfers into and out of this, and then a little bit more of a park focus. Now, for anybody who's new at BMX, when we say street section, yes, tail whip drop in, we talk about obstacles you'd primarily find in an urban environment, and then a park section there's usually larger transitions that will give riders the opportunity to blast up in the air. But that's going to be a full pull of 60 seconds right there for the Ukrainian Zelyan Ovchak.
Man, incredible. What a way to open up as well. Like, those first run nerves, not looking like they've set in for him at all. He just comes straight out of the gate. If that is kind of where we're starting this contest, let's see where it goes, Daryl. This is going to be insane. Saul Villardo from Spain, first time riding simple session, getting ready to drop. He's one of the youngest guys on the course this weekend, doing it for Zabrosa.
So Massini Seb in the chat says, yes, that was a triple truck driver. We look like we started off with a double tail whip right here. Love that tire grab over the box jump backwards. Now, James, when a rider hits the box backwards, it's a steeper landing. So the degree of difficulty is actually a lot harder because, like you see on this Red Bull Island as well, your margin of error is a lot more slim. You got to be more precise on that re-entry. But right now, we're actually seeing Saul Villar look very comfortable as he has 28 seconds to go.
Yeah, crazy, because you kind of want to maintain that speed, and this is a course, I mean, obviously you want to maintain the speed all the time, but this is a course where you don't really want to drop it because it's kind of slightly harder to pick it back up because you've got such big features. You need to keep that momentum going. So like you say, going over that box backwards, easier to go to flat and just kill your line. So great to see that Sal's making it happen, taking that 180 over.
Yeah, and you also had the 180 with the bar spin clean over our street spine and double peg up to bar spin at the buzzer. So one other thing I want to highlight about this run, about this course, excuse me, is that it's so well made. Usually when a course is put into a stadium or arena, it's maybe, you know, some corners are cut. That is not what happened here. And I say that because if a rider really wants to pump into these transitions, they can generate so much speed, especially at the bottom. So if a rider is able to utilize that flow in their 60 seconds, they can really separate themselves from the pack because they can build that momentum. And if you do that, you can keep energy on your side and feel good about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got Christian Spunts from Latvia dropping. What an opener to his run.
Wow, the red carpet entrance, the helicopter, that's the backflip double tail whip right there for the Latvian rider.
This is such a young first heat as well. Everyone is no older than 19 years old. Christian's 18, first time riding single session. The guys just don't look like they're nervous right now. They look like they're coming out swinging, right?
Yeah, and then he hit that four-piece combo, the 360 double tail whip to the bar spin, showing just how confident he is over that box jump. But the judges want to see, how can you utilize this course? The riders didn't have a lot of time to practice, so they're going to have to figure out, can you put together not only one run, but can you do two runs? Because it's an overall impression. Back to the box jump, 720 bar spin, no problems at all. Definitely focusing a little bit more on the box jump. So we're going to see what the judges wind up thinking as far as a score and numeric value goes. They want the riders to utilize the whole thing, but I got to give it up. Some big combinations right there.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you make there, right? Because with the skateboarding contest earlier, they were saying essentially the judges weren't going to mind too much if you were more of a street rider and focused on the street element, more of a transition rider, and you went over to the park side of things. But it's never going to hurt if you can do both, right?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I had a chance to talk with Van Homan before the event, one of our judges, and he was echoing the same thing that you talked about. But he'd rather see someone focus more on the park and put out big bangers than go to the street section and just kind of do a little bit of a nibbler double peg down the rail.
Just like a token.
But then someone here, Boyd Hilder, who has won this event 2 times before, if he's doing it on both, you're competing against him, so you better be able to pull it up.
Absolutely. Well, someone that is switching it up, riding between the two right now, is Sim Savic from Estonia, coming from Tartu, the home of Simple Session where we were last year, and linking up all of the lines that this course designed by Nate Wessel has to offer. So creative.
Got a little loose in the beginning of his first 30 seconds, but now I'm liking that he's starting to find his rhythm out there, setting up for the box jump. Doing a little bit of an un-turn down right there. You saw, as opposed to twisting his bars, there's a little bit keeping him vertical. Definitely having some difficulty finding his line. He's got about 6 seconds. Let's see if he's able to pull something out.
Sim very into his downhill, but also just switches it up and jumps into BMX as well, which is cool to see. Yeah, guy definitely kind of getting creative with the lines, finding his way around. And with that, we will head straight to the top of the bill. Like I was saying at the very start, we aren't going to get run one scores. We're going to keep this going. It's high energy. We just get straight back into run number 2. And Xenia Ovtcharuk, what a start he had.
Yeah, because we have 13 heats. How many riders did you say that we have?
52, so 4 riders in each jam.
52, look at that, 2 for 2 on that triple truck driver. I got confirmation in the chat. The thing I liked about that is he landed a little smoother and able to boost a little bit higher on that tabletop. There you can see that can step through over that top 2, putting his foot back on. Whoa! Going for a bar spin to disaster right there. That's where you land with one wheel on the deck, one wheel down, but he had a little bit of off balance. He's got about 30 seconds to try to get back on the horse and get it going.
That angle there as well from the rail cam, kind of showing just how big those rails are. That section that he's on right now, kind of snowboard inspired, Nate says. So those features are huge. I just find with Simple Session, everything's so big that it looks like it's kind of normal size, but it's not.
That was an awesome combination. You saw he went backwards and got the tail whip. Coming back in off the island right there, going for some back wheel boogie out of a backflip 180. Throwing up the heart right there. Unfortunately, going down a few times, but I got to give it up for the Ukrainian. Definitely riding with some big moves and getting those done.
Yeah, making a statement as the first rider in today. We're going to go back to the Spanish 17-year-old though, Sal Villar. As I was saying before, kind of his first time out here at Simple Session. And just seems so chill with it. Nice double whip opener.
Yeah, and the way he kicked it, that almost looked like he kicked it in his non-traditional way and just let the bike go, as opposed to kicking it with his rear foot. Maybe we'll be able to see a little bit on a slow-mo right there. You guys can let us know in the chat. Some of the tricks, a little hard to see from our house, but we are definitely knowing that the judges have the best perspective possible. So if we happen to call something a little off or miss something, we have zero impact on the judges at all. They've said they are lifetime riders. Their eyes are glued to the course, and they can clearly see, yes, a good perspective like that gap to double peg grind.
Yeah, an esteemed panel of judges is great. Guys that have been at Simple Sessions so many times before as well, so they know what's up, they know what's going down. Taking the 3 over the spine there, kind of looking a little more lost at this end of the run, but getting the double peg up the rail. That rail is no joke as well to hop onto. It's kind of when you stand next to it, it's coming up to your waist. It's a big rail and it is steep.
Yeah, let's take a look right here at the highlights, and maybe we'll get a chance to see that double whip, maybe not, but it's interesting the way a rider can throw it. I think he relied a little bit regardless on his upper body, as opposed to kicking it with his legs, which was cool, and a nice cadence for that double spin.
Yeah, definitely. Christian Spans, the Latvian, 18 years old. A promising ramp rider coming back in right now. Doing it for Rave. As you can see on his tee there. Definitely looks like he's kind of taking some deep breaths. Shake off the nerves. And let's see how run number 2 goes for him. Coming straight in with the flip double whip over the box. The height on that, outrageous.
Yeah, 2 for 2 right there. Very difficult trick known as the helicopter back to the box jump. Ooh. Getting those nice rotations with the whips right there. Coming around, 40 seconds to go. 360 with the bar spin. You see he has no pegs or brakes on his bike. A rider can set his or her bike up any way they want, and it really puts the freestyle and the freedom in it, because if you have brakes or pegs, it just opens a door for some other potential tricks. But we've seen the progression over the years where a lot of riders can actually do just as many tricks, if not more, without them. So it's really a preference. Look at that, 720 with the bar spin, perfect cadence, re-entering back in.
Just 5 seconds left for Christians. And that right there is going to be time for him. A strong second run. He seems happy as well. Nodding his head. He's pleased with that. Yeah, throwing up the heart again. doing Latvia proud in jam number 1. Never easy to be in jam 1, and you know, riders can sometimes get in their head a little bit and go, oh man, like I'm maybe not making final from an earlier heat. But we saw in the skateboarding earlier, there's a Swiss guy, Simon Gerber. He weighed it from the start. He was in first for so long. So yeah, it really doesn't matter out here. The judges it's an even playing field, whatever jam you're in. Sim coming back in from Estonia, from Tartu.
Sim already off to a more solid start on his second run. He had the combinations over the box. Look at this alley-oop over the hip. Foot jam, able to put his foot in the wheel. There we go, no brakes on his bike, and that's how he was able to pause, by utilizing his sneaker in the wheel. At that halfway mark with 30 seconds to go. Yes, looked like maybe a 180 tail whip up. Again, a little hard to see from our perspective, but right now, firing back at that quarter. Looks like he's gonna bring it to the box jump. Yeah, stylish on that unlook down. Utilizing that ball corner into the bubble with a look back over that hip. Working things down. You can hear in-course MC Andy the Z-Man Zeiss counting it down, and that is gonna be time right there for Sim Savic.
And that's also time on jam number 1, our first 4 riders in, getting it done, kicking off the Simple Session BMX qualifiers. There we go, taking a look through some of the highlights. Let's get into it, Daryl. Let's see.
So that was that triple truck driver. So hard to put 4 tricks in one air because he had that 360, but he was focused and determined on his hands. Here's the bunny hop tail whip. Take a look at, he kicks that with his rear right leg. Right, and then here's the 180 double bar spin with the tail whip back in. Super psyched on that combination, which he should be. Now, this was our second rider from Spain, Saul Villar. He rides with his left foot forward.
That was a nice tooth hanger.
And you see he definitely does some things goofy-footed, as some of you guys called out in the chat, where he tends to grind on his non-traditional side and spin that way. Love to see how many diehard BMX fans are in the house that know the attention to detail on stuff like that. And look at that, 360 double tail whip, catches it with a smooth bar spin. Lands a little low, but he was able to keep the run going for that 720. And you saw that he had to pull the bars into his lap to speed up his spin rotation, toss the bars, and then pull them again to get around with enough time to get that landing. And this was our Estonian rider, Sim Savic, who had that nice combination, finishing with that can-can. There was the unturned down. He had 2 for 2. And remember, it's both runs are gonna count out there. It's an average of scores. So even if a rider kind of messes up and it's not going their way, they're gonna wanna get on it and work it out for that 60 seconds.
Yeah, well, we can see there what the scores are coming in. First place, 56.25 for Christian Spons, Saul Villar in second, Xenia Ovcharuk in third, and Sim Savic rounding it out with a 20.00 in fourth place. So that is the starting point for the judges today. We have some absolutely wild riders for you later on, but right now we are going to get into jam number 2. Coming out of Germany, we've got Robin Catchby, we've got Jose Sedano from Chile, we've got Ben Tao, and we have Sikarin Supanma from Thailand as well, who brings all the energy, as you can see from his picture right there. So we're just keeping it rolling. We've got so much riding to get through. Let us know in the YouTube chat on the Simple Session account where you are watching from in the world right now, what time it is where you're watching. We have people watching us at all times of the day. We'd love to know where you are at right now and give you a shout out. Seeing so many of you getting involved in the conversation. Thank you for being part of the community for the 25th anniversary of Simple Session. And Robin Catchby is about to get going, doing it for street culture. And his 1 minute will start from his first trick, right there.
So there you saw it right there, kicking the tail whip around. You saw he rides with his right foot forward, bringing it to the back end of the frame, and then kicking what some might say is opposite. But in this day and age, people do things both ways. Like we just saw him kick it with his left foot, going for a foot plant 360 off our Gutface muraled art wall. Shout out to Gutface. He's a lifetime rider who's been a part of the Simple Session family. Went to university to be an artist, and he's for 3 years in a row painted a really cool mural. And this time he has 2 different tributes to the late great Pat Casey and to Kashad Johnson. But right now, working it out. Having some difficulty trying to do a little bit of a back wheel boogie. Robin Coffey trying to make it work. He's got 8 seconds. And this is where if it was best run counts, a rider would wave it off. But if they could throw something else in there, it's going to count towards their score. And there you go, going up, hitting that front peg. Darkside Smith, 270 back in. Nice little topping right there.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, Robin rode his first Simple Session back in 2017. He's kind of been someone that we've commentated on pretty much ever since. He's been here basically every year. So it's great to have him back. And yeah, kind of known for getting a bit more tech like that. So great to see him getting a bit more creative as well, finding some bits to hit in the course that, yeah, maybe others might not. So yeah, great start for Robin. Jose Cadano, though, from Chile.
Yeah, this next rider dropping in is one of my faves. Look at this, boom!
Straight in.
Big double backflip, Jose Sedano from Santiago. I know that Coco Zurita and Juani Zurita, 2 of his BMX brothers, are cheering him on. They ride at Zignal Skate Park that was founded by Coco Zurita's dad, and they are definitely big influences to the scene. And in the last few years, Jose Sedano has made quite a name for himself on the international circuit. And I know he would love to be one of the 15 riders in the final, catching a quick ice pick. That's when you grind on the back peg. And he goes up for a toothpick, this time utilizing the front peg of the bike on top of the vert wall. Double peg to 180, smooth rollout. Let's see if he can build back his momentum. You see him pulling back the throttle, jumping down. Oof! Looking for a tabletop, getting a little wild style. Come on, Sedano. Final thought, bar spin to flat.
Just throwing it in, a little bonus for the judges there. Turning it up, really turning up the amplitude right there. Yeah. And he seems happy with that. Look at that face. Yeah, run number 1, he's stoked. But as we will be saying for the duration of the broadcast, run number 2, he's kind of got to do it again. He's got to back it up because both runs are going to count. Each rider getting 2 1-minute runs. Jose Sedano making it happen. Lots of love for him in the chat right now. But Ben Towle coming in right now from the UK.
Yeah, here we go. Ben Talley on course, the big no-hander in that pocket to a backflip across the box. Can I just point out how smooth his re-entry was right there? And look at this, pumping around the bowl. Each one of the transitions, Ben's a big guy, but he's utilizing that body weight like I talked about into each one of those transitions to generate his speed and momentum. Throwing a quick no-hander on the way up. Gap to double peg coming down and still keeping that speed going.
I'm so excited to see the kind of crazy stuff that goes down that kick rail because it is no joke. Gap to double peg seeming pretty popular right now. Ben linking it up though, managing to, as we were saying earlier, kind of hit both sides of the course, which the judges are going to love, and that's super stylish. Heading round kind of over that corner, over that pocket and onto that big Red Bull bank.
Yeah, first rider we saw go the distance on that pocket corner. Not an easy thing. You saw the way he adjusted his speed with that fishtail and then was able to check in with the front wheel on a nose bonk 180 over that spine that features a little bit of a teardrop at the end, almost kind of like the Marseille famous spine, except it's not coping to coping. It's got that wooden deck on top.
So here we go then for the Thai rider, Sikarin Supanmat. Ready to come in. Good energy, good vibes from this guy. Already thanking the crowds.
Shout out to Thailand. Anyone in the chat from that part of the world to cheering on our Thai rider. One of my favorite parts and places to travel. Let's see right now, coming all the way to Estonia. Going up on the front wheel, getting a nice burner back in. You see no front brake, so he finds the balance point by putting his front wheel on the tire, but you can't do it too much or you'd flip over the bars. 360 with the tail whip. Yes, big tabletop transfer. working things out, 35 seconds to go. Come on, our Thai rider representing out here.
Michael in the chat saying Sikarin won the Mellow Park session last year, up and coming, and also the nicest dude ever. Making it happen here at Simple Session as well. It's looking good so far. That 180 on, 180 off on the small kind of hubber ledge across the driveway.
Kale Resurrection saying first time seeing a Vader in a very long time. We call that trick a burner or a Vader. And it's cool to see the uniqueness that he brought out to his run, balancing on that front wheel. And that's one of the coolest things about Simple Session, especially this chat. So many of you are diehard BMXers. I heard that some of you guys talking about that Scotty Kramer actually called and named the backflip double tail whip the helicopter. I believe you might be right with that one. Maybe we'll shoot him a text and ask him if that is the case. But right now we're going back to Robin Coffey taking his second run of 2, dropping on in with that tail whip in the opposite direction.
Back in for a second of the 2 1-minute runs. Made number 1 count, bringing that whip back over the pyramid there.
Ooh.
Just under rotating that.
Yeah, somewhere between a 360, 270, and a 180. Look at that, though, pressing on that nose.
Nice.
Whoa!
Okay. Over the bubble, like alley-oop flaring.
Craving the wave right there, just trying to find that transition. Getting tossed off the back a little bit.
Getting back into it. Looking to take that Manny over the top of the Red Bull Volcano. And then coming up into a fakey Manny, but kind of coming back off again. And yeah, that's interesting for Robin because as we've said, run number 1 for him was a great start, but run number 2 is also being counted by the judges, and that was a bit more of a throwaway for Robin right there. So we'll see what that does to his overall score at the end of jam number 2. So Jose Sedano came out swinging in run number 1. Brought so much speed, doing it for Adidas out here. And let's see if he can back it up.
So Sedano had a solid first run, but I know he's got some more in the tank. And you keep talking about overall impression. In practice, he was wowing everyone. I'd love to see him get a full 60 seconds on his second run and put an exclamation point at the end of it. Drop it in, double backflip 2 times with that big entrance. I love that tabletop all the way to that pocket corner, flying the tuck no-hander. 10 seconds in and he already has a lot of big hits, and he's showing you he's got the style with that turn down. Kicking the tail whip nice and clean, and look at the re-entry on that no-handed 360. James was able to just grab the top of that transition so smoothly. Sedano right there with an opposite air, just looking to set things up, has that ice pick. Now he's replicating some of the first run and some of those tricks, and the judges do want to see variety in 2 different runs. And that could sometimes mean not only the tricks that you do, but also if you have the skill to take a completely different approach and drop in from a different vantage point. But that tabletop he definitely did not get in his first run. Looking for that manual. You can see he's got some brakes on his bike. He was utilizing it. Re-entry to that quarter pipe. All right, Sedano.
Sweet, that double flip opener in both runs as well. What a statement to kick off your 1 minute and then just taking it all over the park from there. So great to see his versatility. I think that's probably going to be the run to beat after jam number 2. But Ben Tal is going to come back in right here. A rider who kind of, took some slightly different lines to some of the other riders, made his mark on the course in run number 1.
Watch Ben in these transitions, so smooth on that re-entry with that backflip, this time up in the ante, tossing the bars, and he's able to just keep his flow going. He's a larger framed guy, but he's really smooth in those transitions. I'm really impressed, and I feel like that backflip definitely highlighted that. Here we go, dropping into the street section, doing a quick sui on the way up, coming back with the gap to double peg, even smoother this time around, and then just throws the bars. Nice alley-oop, floating on that re-entry. Let's see if he could bring it the juice for that no-footed can-can. Both feet are off the left side of the bike. Pumping around that bull corner. He's got time for that final thought, and smooth on that nose press 180 over that street spine.
Perfect, and the flare over the hip. Yeah, it looked like a bail, but just for good measure for the judges at the end.
I think that might have been a little bit after the buzzer, but
yeah.
You know, we'll see. Regardless, if you crash at the end of your run, it's usually not as negatively impacted as at the start. So you had a full pull prior to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Thai rider, Sikarin, coming back in for his second run. Yeah, he's got a lot of backing out there. People love him. Doing it for demolition. And starting back in on the street section, but riding straight back through into the transition.
This time going a little bit further, trying to get into the big tranny back in. Nate Wessel killed it with this course, and we're seeing him utilize the 540. First rider do that on that vert ramp practically. It's a circle and a half. It's hard coming back in because you are blind over your shoulder.
The three the wrong way there as well, just kind of heading straight for that island there too. It's like, it's such a compact course. You can hit it with so much speed, but it also means those obstacles come up fast, gapping over that kinked rail.
Woo! Hitting the dark side right there with his front peg, looking for a 360 nose bonk. Got 12 seconds. Again, it's the overall impression. It might seem like, hey, this is the end of your run and a throwaway, but you got all your other riders out there trying to make a good impression because we're only taking 15 into the finals.
And with that three, that is going to be the end of jam number 2 as well. A big heat, that one. And we can see some of the highlights on screen right now, Daryl.
Look at that nose press 360 coming around. You have to get nice and stylish off the back of the bike, grabbing the seat, scissor kicking the leg, slipping some pedals, come back in. Put the nose manual across the island, smooth re-entry, and that was that wild style flare on the side. Sedano, just red carpet entrance 2 times with that double backflip, spotting the landing, clean re-entry. You have to be so committed on that trick to come around, kicking the tail whip, and then the no-handed 360, dialed the way he was able to catch it, ripping into that turn down, tweaking the bars 270 degrees. Sedano showing you he's very confident out there, and also putting a little bit of that street flavor with the toothpick on the front peg. And there is a Tabe Lords tabletop worthy, leaning it over.
Oh man, that's such a good angle of that tuck no-hander through the pocket as well. And then there we go, that perfect backflip just catches the transition.
It's all about that re-entry, right?
It's so good, it's so smooth, it looks so effortless.
And Ben's a really large frame guy, right? He's got a lot of muscle on him, he's a tall guy, and to be able to re-enter that smooth.
So perfect.
I mean, buttery smooth right there. Yeah, there we go. The distance on that burner with that front wheel right in that mark. And then you see the X up with the transfer back in. Looked like he might have used a little bit of that Dorito shark fin to get the jump. First rider we saw put the tires on that unique transition. And there's the 540, well over railing, about 1.5 meters, 2 meters high right there. Big 540.
Well, there we go. We do have a new leader as predicted. Jose Sedano coming in with a 73, and then Ben Tao taking the second place with a 57. Sikarin goes into 5th with a 37.75, and Robbins down in 8th with a 19.00. So we have a big gap there between Jose and Ben. And we're going to see riders starting to slot into that throughout the remainder of the jams today. Still 11 jams to go. We've got a lot of BMXing to get through as we move into jam number 3 with Marek Beliak from Lithuania, Eric Hirschke from Germany, Torno Krutz from Estonia, and Masaki Terabayashi from Japan. One of the youngest dudes out here again, 17 years old, and one of the best modern-day street riders hailing from Japan right now. So really excited to see him ride. But Marek is going to be kicking things off.
I love the international field. That's one of the best parts of Simple Session. We bring around riders from around the world, cultures from around the world, and also riding styles. One of the most international events that are out there. And you can also see that brotherhood getting a fist bump before dropping in.
So Marek, as we say, doing it for Lithuania, third consecutive simple session as well. First came in 2023.
Juliak dropping in on that course. Yeah, oh, I spoke too soon, going for the 180 tail whip. Onto the stage and off the stage with the bunny hop 360 bar spin, known as that truck driver. Hitting a quick toboggan over the hip.
It's great, though, as a street rider, to see him kind of mixing it up, getting into the transition as well, showing he can ride both.
Yeah, tail whip with the transfer, and then landing a little bit heavy low, blowing off the pedals. But I like seeing that he's got the smile on his face, he's getting back on it, because sometimes you'd wind up just washing this off, but regardless, if you can kind of stay in there for the 60 seconds, even if it's not perfect, it's better than just kind of waving it off, because then the judges want to know that you're in it. So here we go, ice pick going down. That's that back peg down the rail, and that is going to be time right there. Oh!
So not quite coming together for Marek. Ice pick down the handrail, probably his standout trick there, and I think he's going to want to improve on that. But look at the fans he's got. shirtless fans painted up in his name.
The fans here are one of the best. So right now, Jurek Heschke dropping in from Germany, but our fans are one of the best parts about Simple Session. Tomorrow during the finals, usually the stadium will be full with everybody going completely mental cheering on. We still have a lot of fans in the house today that you might not necessarily see from some of these camera angles, but they are showing their support for all of our riders.
Just slipping the pedals there, but not losing too much speed, managing to keep it going.
Yeah, some non-conventional jumping trick styles, maybe a little bit old school. There you go, bar spin, tire tap, put it in reverse, fakie coming in. See that his back wheel has a cassette-style hub, not a free coaster, so that means when he travels backwards, he has to take his cranks and go in the same direction of just being in control with them backwards. You can see right there, he has to spin them as opposed to a free coaster, which has been gotten popular in the last few years as the technology's gotten better. And we have some riders, when they go fakie, which is backwards, you'll see they don't have to pedal to keep up with that sprocket and chainring.
Okay, strong first run for Eric. And actually, we mentioned Mellow Park earlier. That is his home park. So, yeah, shouts to those guys.
Yeah, Mellow Park in Berlin has such roots in BMX. Our on-course MC, Andy the Z-Man Zeiss, used to throw the Rebel Jams there back in the day.
And now we have come in from the home of Simple Session, Tartu, Estonia. A guy who was the best Estonian rider at Simple Session in 2022, 2023, and 2024 is Tauno Kreuts. On course for his first of 2 1-minute runs, linking that whip up into the street section.
Quick double tire ride on our Visit Estonia subwall. Hard thing to do to fit your wheels in such a small space. We actually witnessed Paris Benegas, who won the women's final that took place just before this. She did a similar line to that, so maybe he's saying, hey, let me put my tires where the female BMX royalty just did. Coming back at us, 24 seconds to go.
Really managing to link this street section together well.
Representing Stoned Street. Coming back at us, 5 seconds, time for a final thought. Bar spin off,
Just getting caught up on the bar out of the double peg, spinning the bars while still grinding.
Going down pretty hard on that double peg. I think he's gonna get up and be quite all right.
Yeah, the first half of the run definitely better for Tauno. Got some good stuff in. kind of got away from him in the second 30 seconds. So yeah, he'll have a bit of work to do in run number 2. But excited to see what he can achieve. Maybe best Estonian rider at Simple Session in 2025 as well. We go now though to the young Japanese rider Masaki Terabayashi. And what an opener.
Yeah, nice height too on that quarter pipe, showing you that he is in control. Terabayashi grabbing behind the back with that seat, stylish, twisting the bars, and you see a bar spin version of that same move over the box, showing you that he's got some diversity, how he can execute this style. 35 seconds, transferring into the Red Bull quarter, back at us over ice pick, catching that back peg. Going up on our gut face, art wall. Double peg grind from that gap.
Seeing a lot of riders enjoying that gap to double peg down the kink trail.
You saw right there, he grinded on his bottom bracket. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but definitely keeping the momentum rolling as he X-ups. Coming back at us, trying to put as many points on the scoreboard as possible, kicking that tail whip around after doing a grind on that bubble, and that is time right there for Terabayashi from Japan.
A young rider, but coming out looking super calm and collected. Yeah, sweet to see him out here ripping it. Definitely more street orientated, but man, finding those creative lines, bringing the speed. A strong first run, and we go back to the top of the list for Marek Beliak. There they are again. There they are. Marek actually used to ride scooters as well before kind of moving to BMX, literally only a couple of years ago, and here he is at Simple Session. So just shows those transferable skills that you can bring over, taking that bar to ice, just literally kissing the ice on the very end of that ledge.
Yeah, and that tail whip over the hip was super stylish. He just floated it. Oh!
Okay, he looks good.
Oh, wow, tough as nails. Tough as nails right there. Going off the stage. Like,
almost just looks like he went slightly off axis, like almost over his shoulder.
Yeah, it was almost like a stage dive right there. No crowd to catch him, but now they are cheering him on. Back on the feet, 23 seconds to go. Kicks another down whip, trying to work things out. He definitely has the support. Impressive getting up from a slam like that. Looking for that crank arm slide on the A-rail down. 5 seconds to work it out. Looks like this is going to be time right here. Oh!
Taking the whip to flat, we didn't quite see the landing. But yeah, 2 kind of heavy falls in that one. Full commitment to the whip, off to flat.
We just comment on the smile as well, taking the hard hits.
Yeah.
And then still having the smile on his face, having a great time out here. I love seeing it.
I hope he's got his friends at the party tonight, because they look like they would be a hoot. They look like they'd be a lot of fun. So Marek finishing up the second of his 2 runs as we head to Eric Hershke for his second. Popping in off that sub box. Yeah, the bar over.
Yeah, nice one-footed X-up coming up. That step up, no-hander down. Rocking the street section like a jump course. Tail whip over the wedge. Quick foot plant. Yeah, I love seeing these, I'm gonna call them old school jumping tricks. Definitely were a little more popular back in the 90s right there, but that's the cool thing about BMX. You make it your own. We're seeing that right here. Quick sprocket stall over the spine, 15 seconds to go at the back wheel boogie.
Needing to find something with this final few seconds, really. And Eric waving away. So that is going to do for him here at Simple Session in the qualifiers. A reminder that we receive the run scores after both runs. So we'll see what that does to our leaderboards. Jose Sedano sitting in first with a 73.00. He is the man to beat right now. But we go back to the Estonian rider, a popular local out here, Torno Kreuts. As we were saying before, first half of run number 1 went nicely. Second half, maybe not quite as he would have liked. So let's see what he can do in run number 2.
The Estonian fans are cheering Tarnu on. I definitely know that that can help make a good impression with the judges. Getting that little step down right there. There's so many little pockets that Nate Wessel put on this course. You can see some of the transition, even going up to that kinked rail that he bar spun over. There's a little bit of a takeoff, and he was able to capitalize on that, and it set him up perfectly then to jump up and grind down the backside of that bubble. You can see that rainbow rail. So when you can hit all the little features that Nate Wessel designed on here, you can definitely make it work in your favor. And going for the hang 5 right there on his front peg, you see that his one foot is dangling off the bike, and that's how you keep your balance point. You want to find that sweet spot and keep it going. He wasn't able to get a clean re-entry into that quarter pipe, but thankfully still able to get the feet on, and this is going to be time.
Yeah, an interesting one for Torno. I think as well, kind of note that where we haven't been in the arena for the past few years, like there's guys that have come to Simple Session for the first time in say 2023, 2024, they come back to the arena now and it's their first time on a park of this scale at Simple Session. So yeah, it's a maybe new territory for some of the riders. Masaki Terabayashi though, coming back in, had an incredible first run, yes, opening back up.
I love the height on that quarter pipe transfer right there. It shows you how confident and in control. Back over the box, 720, clean re-entry, twisting that X up, pumping around the corners.
Looks so smooth with that rotation as well. Just sitting there waiting for it to come round.
Even the foundations right there, something as simple as a bar spin, he just is so smooth on that cadence and in control. Yeah. You could just tell that he's got a lot of bike control, and that's something that's so important to have, and that's why when he even just pumps into a quarter pipe or just a quick back wheel manual, just a lot of style.
Bringing a flair to the street course as well, because why not? What we can finish on here.
Ooh, all right, 2 for 2, getting that bottom bracket you see right across.
So where you were unsure whether that was a slip up in the first run, I'm guessing much more intentional. He's done it again in run number 2. So yeah, really kind of controlled. Looked just perfect throughout. Yeah. We can see all of the highlights from jam number 3 right now too.
And while we look at some of the highlights, I'm going to talk about his bike for a moment. He had 3 pegs on his bike, so that's why he was able to get into that position, hitting the bottom bracket, dropping the front down. A lot of riders that are out there can choose to ride either 1 peg, 2 pegs, 3, 4, no pegs, and it just opens the doors for certain different tricks. But if you're going to wind up doing tricks on a rail, James, especially if you're going to mess around with trying to ride on a rail, if you have 4 pegs, it definitely can like save you sometimes. Let's say if you're trying to thread the needle and double tire ride, you fall off to one side or the other. If your pegs catch you, well, you don't eat it, right? I mean, you still can technically, but you could also save the trick.
Is that something the judges will look at as well? Do you think they'll consider that, or do you think it's just a kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other?
No, they'll know, and they'll definitely see it, and they have a very clear vantage point from their house, right? So like even the fact of him, that was a planned trick on his behalf because that front peg he didn't have on his left. He only had the 3 pegs, so that was definitely an intentional. You can see a look at his front bike right there, his front wheel. So that was definitely something intentional. But sometimes if there's you know, a long kink rail that we might see in this contest, and that happens, if a rider can save it, you know, obviously it's not going to be as good as if they were going for a rail manual or a double tire ride, but if they're able to keep the momentum and keep the party going, and the more that you could kind of not skip a beat, that will work in their favor. But, you know, obviously if they're trying to do a tire ride and they get a little bit sloppy, it won't be as favored.
Yeah.
Taking a look right there, our 4 judges, Van Homan holding up that burger. You see De Jong on the end taking a big mouthful. You got to squeeze it in while you can because their brains are all things BMX. They have to see not only the way a rider is on the course, but they got to basically take that score and see how the other riders fit within that. It's a lot going on, very difficult thing to do. And you got to basically see what numeric value the riders will be getting from their riding.
Yeah, so there we go. We see a switch up in the leaderboards. Mazaki getting into second place, still a distance to Jose, but he's in second. Torno gets the 8th position with a 26.50. Eric slots into 9th with a 22.75, and Marek with a 16.50. So leaderboard starting to switch around a little bit. Jose Sedano stays the man to beat as we move into jam number 4. Jan Bizants from Germany, Juna Pajari from Finland, Philippakos Bath from Greece, from Athens, and Noah Martella rounding it out, 19 years old.
Take a look at that age spread, 19 to 32. I love it. I love seeing the passion of our riders. A lot of lifetime riders out here, not only behind the scenes as judges, also commentators right here, but also a lot of riders still keeping it in the game. And Philippos is definitely no stranger to simple session. I'm excited to see what our 4 riders are going to bring for the flavor out here. If you are just joining us, this is our Simple Session 25 BMX men's qualification. We have our 4th heat about to start of 13. It doesn't matter if you're in the first heat or the last heat. We are taking 15 moving on to the finals. Each rider will have 2 runs on the course that are 60 seconds. Both runs are going to count. Again, it is an overall impression. So riders want to make an impression with our judges and make the most of their time.
So Jan coming in for run number 1. The little Manny bar into the bank. Oh!
Yes! Look at this, throwing even that crank flip back into the bank. You're just seeing how controlled he is. Going for that manual, trying to jump up on top of that pedal / crank arm grind. Having a little difficulty with the spin, but look at the attention to the detail. 360 rear tire bonk on the wedge, going for that backflip.
So creative, just coming in with lines that we haven't seen yet. Oh my words, Jan Bizans. Oh man, just bringing the creativity to the Simple Session course. And that's the thing with the Nate Wessel course as well. You know there's just going to be lines for days, and they're even figuring it out still, finding things as we head into the finals tomorrow. But Jan taking things in a slightly different direction. Manny back through. Time for one more. Yeah! And back in.
Yeah, that's also the thing. We haven't had a lot of time for our riders to practice out here, so even any moment they get on the course by themselves during the run, because in practice you got all these guys, the best in the world, they are zooming, they are going fast out there. When you actually have a chance to have this canvas to yourself, you can sometimes, first the rider's able to see, can this transfer work? Can I have a clear head? Can I get this line together? Because you're trying to really dodge traffic in practice.
You know, I was speaking to Boyd yesterday and he was saying, I'm kind of looking forward to qualifiers to have the park to myself so I can really kind of see everything without having to look over my shoulder to see where everyone else is at. Juna Pajari, though, coming in from Finland. Street powerhouse. Yeah, been a Simple Session for the past few years. We commentated on him. Yeah, when we were talking earlier about some of the smaller parks that maybe have more of the street elements, those really played into his strengths. And there we go. That's probably the most consistently popular trick across the riders right now, that gap to double peg down the second portion of the kinked rail.
Yeah, and for everyone at home, the reason that is so popular, that first part of the rail is actually really steep. You can see a little bit on the screen right there. So it's mellower in the second stage, and it kind of sets you up for that. I think when the course, the height elevation is really big over there. It's almost 2 meters, about 7 feet, 8 feet.
Yeah.
And to fit that in, that's kind of the design and the angle they have. So it sets it up for something that actually would have been like a video part end or a gap to rail is now almost just like stock in your run, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, Juna just finishing off with that 3 to flat. off the quarter.
Shout out to Joe Rich, BMX legend down in Austin, Texas, one of the first riders to ever do a gap to rail. And now all these years later, we're seeing it as part of a run here in Simple Session.
And we head now to the unit that is Philippakos Baff.
Baff is a beast.
Yeah.
32 years young. You can see under that shirt, he is a beast. All muscle, but he's got the skill, style, and finesse to bring it all together.
Yeah, won best trick in 2021 here at Simple Session. I'm gonna try and link together the street elements of the course to kick off run number 1.
Gap to feeble grind. Going on the opposite side right there. Feeble coming up, popping off a quick foot plant. Looking to set things off. Oh! Trying for that double peg grind. I feel like any other rider would have just got twisted up in the rail. He's so big and his body momentum just shot him up off the top. You see right there, trying to dry his grips off a little bit. A little bit slippery hands right here. Coming back in, got the momentum going again. Where's he going? Where's he going?
Okay, we're building up for something big. I did wonder, I was like, why is he drying his grip?
Okay, yeah. Let's get this man some gloves.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's see. This is after the buzzer, but I want him to stay in the ring right here. Everyone is peeled, eyes on the screen. Here we go, Baff.
So we're looking at this drop over on the left-hand side.
Pulling it back. Oh!
How tall do you reckon that is?
That is huge. I'm at a loss for words right here, because not only is it tall, he also had to go out and clear past that quarter pipe.
Yeah.
Oh no, you see maybe something's going on with his ankle right there.
Oh, there's so much impact. I hope he's okay from that.
Yeah, we won't speculate, but we know he's a big rider, a big man, and maybe there's a chance he had some adrenaline going.
Yeah. Well, we hope he's okay.
Yeah, we want to see that again.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Right. Huge 3 to flat, but yeah, hopefully he's okay and just needs to walk that off for run number 2. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, let's not speculate, but wow. Okay, we go to our final rider of jam number 4. Noah Martella from Italy.
Yeah, Martella kicking those cranks right there. You saw them going around two full rotations, and there he kicks that tail whip in his opposite direction. You see, utilizing the upper body, spinning it around. He didn't kick that with his rear foot. Nice bunny hop bar spin.
Larry Laser in the chat right now, rooting for Noah.
Yeah, look at that combination, tossing the bars and then kicking those cranks. Super confident and comfortable. Where's he going? Definitely some street style. Bar spin over that spine. Catching it with a quick Smith stall. Going with the opposite 180 over the spine. Nice. But in this day and age, I mean, it's almost hard to even call regular or opposite because people do things in any and all directions. We could get into the debate, switch, regular, however you want to call it. I always revert back to John Engelbert. You know him as Lucky. You've heard that grind before, and he would always call it, whether it was your feet were switched, being switch-footed, opposite would be spinning in your opposite direction. He's one of the founders of doing all crazy, wild moves like that, so I always revert back to his goodness. But we're seeing out there, not able to get that full 60 seconds, and we are going to move it along right now to our next rider.
Yeah, back to Jan Bazans. We saw the creativity in run number 1, hitting tricks and lines that we haven't seen from any of the previous jams, any of the 3 before. And we might not see from the later jams either. And that is a good place to be if you stand out to the judges like that.
Look at that casual combo right there. Bar spin to manual. I love the way that he tossed the bars and was just hanging out on that back wheel. And you were seeing some extremely technical riding going up on that pedal and crank arm and then hopping up, landed an X up from the flip and then the 180 in. Boom, that is how you make it technical. And then the front wheel. Wow, James, this is unreal.
Jan bringing so much creativity. It looked like when he went for that backflip last time, there was something else in mind, and that was obviously what he was going for. Throwing those pedals on the way back over the box. It's just those little extra bits, right, where it's like, oh, okay, I'm not just going to ride out of this. I'm just going to throw something else for the judges.
Yeah, we're seeing a master of bike control right here. Even the way that he went up and almost stalled ice pick on that quarter pipe. And I say almost because he doesn't have pegs on his bike, right?
Do you think he forgot for a moment? He's like, oh, no.
No, he's just got the bike control that can back it up. Look at that tire slide. I know what you mean, but look at that right there. That tire slide. Really dialed bike control. I love seeing that. So there we have it. A very unique voice on the course, right? Those are the attention where you really stand out. And I'm not taking away from his tricks. I'm actually highlighting them. They weren't big box jump tricks. They weren't saying, hey, this is the big banger over the box. But most riders can't do those just because of the finesse that it takes.
But isn't that great, right?
It
is.
is.
We don't want a field of 15 riders in the final that are all going to hit the course in exactly the same way. We want to see the variety. And that's what makes the judges' jobs harder too. Because they've kind of got to compare apples and oranges.
Yeah, and I love seeing the variety out there, right? That's really how you make a voice make. There's so many riders. Yes! Oh.
Just slightly under rotating. But still 30 seconds on the clock. But this is what we were saying earlier, like you kind of don't want to lose speed because it's hard to get back in on this course, and he's going to have to hustle if he wants to make something happen. Moving over to the street section.
Yeah, so many riders have made their career here at Simple Session because it's a platform for their voice to be heard. Looking for the ice pick, going the distance up and over coast to coast. I love seeing that back wheel balance, and then the truck driver, James.
Man, just slipping it again.
So close. Bunny hop 360 bar spin. It looked like when he landed, he just still had a little extra rotation, and he wound up dumping off the side of the bike right there. Not able to keep it together, but valiant effort.
Yeah, absolutely huge.
So let's see if the beast known as Boff is going to take his second run. Fingers are crossed. We saw that he went up taking a moment, checking at his ankle.
I was going to say, kind of seeing that the camera's concentrating on Noah, it might not be.
I was optimistic. I was hoping he was going to come from the sideline. We see him getting taped up right there.
Okay, I'm hoping that's just a sprain.
Let's hope that they get that dialed in so he can still be at the dance party later.
Yeah, right.
Because I know Boff at the dance party and the after parties. He makes his presence known there at Simple Session. But let's send our energy out to Boff.
Yeah. A great chance, I was going to say as well, to kind of shout out the medical team that we have here at Simple Session. Yeah, it's great. Whenever it's needed, which we hope it very, very rarely is, but whenever they are called upon, an awesome medical team here at Simple Session.
Big ups, though, to Philip for really going for it with that three coming off the side. So much respect. Send him your positive energy and vibes. But right now, Noah Martella dropping in. Let's see where he's going. Whoa, double time. Even been 3 times right there, kicking that around, but super fast with the bars coming back. Oh, kicking that tail whip around, and his cranks wound up spinning and rotating. I wouldn't be surprised if he potentially went for a tail whip. It kicks him with that style going around, but you can see he's got it a little bit loose on the chain, so he's able to kick him so many times, especially after that bar spin.
Yeah, loves that bar to throwing those cranks. Saw that in run number 1. Yeah, bar up onto the volcano again. 25 seconds to go as he heads over the spine. Needs to get something else going here.
60 seconds is a long time when you are in the ring, but dropping back at us. 12 seconds to go. Looking to dig deep with energy. 540. Gosh, not able to stick it clean on that landing.
Yeah, you mentioned that 60 seconds as well. A lot of contests kind of rocking the 45, but Simple Session, where the park is on the scale that it is, you've got kind of more time. I don't want to say coasting between obstacles, but you've got more time between obstacles, right? So it just makes sense to give that slight more time, but it still means you're super tired right at the end. Checking out some of the highlights from jam number 4 right here, Daryl.
Yeah, and James, I actually want to highlight something that you just were talking about. So the cool thing about Simple Session The way the judges look at this, they want to reward people for what they're trying and pushing the sport forward, or even their unique style on the course, as opposed to saying, hey, we want this to be perfect for 60 seconds, and if you put a pedal down or a foot down off your pedal, you're totally out or your points aren't there. With the BMX being in the Olympics, not taking away from that style of judging, but there's other contests that do that, and Simple Session has always been about giving a platform for riders to just let their riding style be shown. And like there, we have Baff with this 360 all the way to flat. Take a look at his ankle. Ooh, you can see how much pressure on his right foot coming down right there.
Yeah, and I think this is maybe the moment he realizes that actually his ankle is kind of hurting. But that's the great thing with Baff there with that 3. That was after time, but the judges are like, do it, man. Like the world wants to see this. Go throw that 3.
Yeah, and that's, again, with Simple Session, why this contest has stood the test of time and keeps getting better year after year.
Yeah.
Because it's about riders really showing their own voice, and we want to see it, right? It's like riders will come here and go, hey, I know I'm not even going to make it to the finals, but I want to do that big 360, or I want to get something done. And we're here for it. We love seeing it. We know that everyone around the world loves seeing it. So again, there's your judges. Dave Klewer is the closest judge to us, and he's going to have to make some sense of our scores.
Yeah, so there we see a shake-up in 7th. Jan Bezants getting a 37.25, slotting in just behind Sakarin, and Yuna just behind Jan as well. Although I say just behind, there is a bit of a leap in the score there with a 29. Noah Martella into 12th with a 20.50, and Baff understandably couldn't make his run number 2. This is, if you are just joining us, an overall impression between the 2 runs. So as huge as that 3 was, and will be a really kind of notable trick when we look back on these qualifiers today, yeah, it's kind of hard to give him a higher score there from the judges, really, because this isn't best run count. And we move to jam number 5 right now, though. And here we've got 4 riders kicking off with Miller Temple. We've then got Levi Wiedmann from the Netherlands, Kristen Boda from Estonia, and Konstantin Rudabashta from Ukraine. Again, talking about mixtures in age, we've got 19 through to 33 in this jam. We've got youth versus experience going on here, Daryl. And we're going to kick off with Miller. He is kind of taking a bit of a step towards his Olympic dream. He's been selected to join the British Cycling Elite Junior team. That was a couple of years ago, and he's kind of putting in a lot of work, part of which is coming out to contests like Simple Session and showing the world what he's got and getting that contest experience under his belt.
Yeah, Miller Temple, a very exciting rider to watch and witness. Definitely going to be psyched to see what he's going to bring. So a rider can start anywhere they want on this course, and it's their 60 seconds to make the use of the time. So we're going to see it as Miller focus a little more on the park, and it looks like he's into the box jump. Boom, a 720. I think that might have been a bar spin as well in there. Coming back with the downside 360 tail whip over the box jump backwards. Again, the degree of difficulty is a lot harder. Backflip tail whip, 3 big hits with 15 seconds down, James.
Yeah, just really linking that box together, making it work with the first 20 seconds of his run, throwing that flare as well. The bar spin back over, heading with the no-handed 3 over the volcano.
So we're seeing different styles as our contest works underway. Miller Temple, no pegs on his bike, no brakes, and no problems at all with the triple tail whip that was 3 times around with that back end. The hyper rider kicking it up, going into that street section, downside tail whip. Let's see what he's gonna do. Quick exit out, doesn't opt for the rail, says, hey, I know where I'm most comfortable, and then wraps it up with a big flare. That's that backflip with the 180, and getting a huge round of applause here in Estonia.
Yeah, perfect. Would you have liked to see him hit some of the more streety elements, Daryl, or would you like to see him just more play to his strengths? He obviously knows which side of the park is for him, you know?
I mean, it's not up to us. I asked the judges, and they were like, we'd rather see someone focus a little more in their expertise, would you? Then go onto the other side and maybe do a nose bonk or kind of just nibble around on the rail. For me personally, I like seeing somebody who's really well-rounded and can utilize the whole course, or especially do tricks in with the course, because if you have your box jump, and I'm not taking away from it, but you can ride a box jump at your own park, and you can come here and kind of do the tricks over the park. But if you could utilize, let's say, one of those unique shark fins out of the Dorito box or the bubble, a feature you don't normally get an opportunity to, it will definitely favor higher in the judges' eyes. Wow, I think that might have been a double bar spin 720 for Levi Weidman.
Wow, Levi with the front flip off the bubble just to flat. That's it. Wow, I was not expecting that line to kick off the run. And that's the thing that's going to shock the judges. The judges are like, wow, what's going on here?
Yes! Love that style right there. Grabbing behind the back with the seat, dipping the bars. Weidman tail whip over the bubble, putting the speed down with the 540. Yes! Look at that alley-oop. 270 can over the top tube, putting the pedals down to build back the momentum. No-hander over a Red Bull Island. There is a tabletop. Charging back, 360 with the bar spin at a super slow cadence into a 720. Wow, that was wild that he got the 7 after that 360 bar spin.
So clipping the back wheel on the top of the volcano coming off that 7, how much is that going to hurt that? How much are the judges going to want to see him clean that up and get that straight back into the transition?
I mean, obviously they always want to see it cleaner, but his whole run was really exciting.
Yeah.
He put some tricks together in an unconventional way. He utilized that bubble. Even hitting that island and hitting back-to-back rhythm is sometimes more favorable than just focusing, let's say, on the box jump going back and forth. So I don't know if it's going to hurt his score necessarily too much, because he did have creativity in the lines that he chose.
Yeah, that front flip though, just catching us so off guard. We move in, feeling the adrenaline right now. Kristen Poder, Estonian rider, coming out of Saku.
Throwing that bar spin out of the tail whip on the hip. I didn't see that one coming. Poder back in the box jump. Double time with the tail whip. You see him utilize his upper body and the handlebars to keep the momentum of that back end sailing around. No-hander with the transfer. 540! Oh, almost going off the side of the stage right there. Walking the line.
Just sitting over the back slightly too much, but managing to keep the speed going. Yeah, nice can over the volcano. And then comes in with that flare. Oh, it just comes undone, slipping out on that flare. And this is where it's hard when you stop like this and you need to get, you've got 10 seconds to get something else in, and you've got to pedal like mad when you're already tired because it's the end of your run.
Yeah.
2 seconds for him to squeeze something else in here.
Keep in mind, we also have the best Estonian rider up for grabs, and Kristen Poder from Estonia is definitely in contention right there. You see the fans cheering him on. They got that sign. It's like a little hard to see what's going on right there in that drawing. Maybe a bike flip, maybe a wild style Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely one of the best park riders in Estonia. We now move to one of the best riders coming out of Ukraine right now, Konstantin Rudabashta. Teaches kids how to ride BMX, as well as helping to run a skate park in Mannheim as well.
Love seeing that support for the younger generations.
Yeah, paying it forward, right?
That's the best thing about BMX, because we all remember when we were younger, when we were first starting to ride, and maybe you had someone who extended that hand and helped teach you, and that is what it's all about. But right now, Rudabashta with that inverted foot plant on that subwall. I'm going to give a shout out to 2 riders, Jay Miron and George Hornig, 2 riders who were some of the first to do that inverted foot plant on the sub box. Coming back at us right here. Where is he going? Adjusting his speed, foot in that tire. No brakes on his bike. Hand plant going for the 180 over the spine right there. Might have had a little bit too much gas in the tank. You saw he wound up tossing the bike off to the side. 10 seconds for Rudabashta. Getting unique style right there with that foot plant back into the spine. Oh,
man, just struggling to get quite back on top of it.
Looking for that redemption right there. Very cool, unconventional hand plant over the spine. While we're at it, giving riders some shout outs. I believe Kevin Porter might have been one of the first riders to start toying around with the hand plant 180 over the spine back in the day. we are seeing in 2025 Konstantin Rudabashta trying to get it done in his run 1 of 2. But we're going to go back to the top right now. Miller Temple repping the UK, and Hyper looking to make the most of his impression with the 4 judges. De Jong, Homan,
Good
Wilkie.
With Jude Jones, who's riding later and doing the UK proud right now. What an opener.
Yes, that is that red carpet. 2 for 2, 360 down whip over the box backwards. Dare I say he makes that look easy. Backflip with the tail whip. The judges do want to see some variety out there. Not only in the tricks, but if a rider, again, can take a different line on the course and utilize some of the different obstacles. So keep that in mind when we do see our riders out there and potentially how that impacts their scores. Like to see the way he pumped around and built the speed back up. He's able to air out of that quarter pipe, charging back into the box. Yes.
Yeah, 2 triple whips in his run so far.
A little hard to see how many whips went on that last time around. We want to hear from you in the comments. Was that 2 or 3 right there?
It looked like 3 to me, but maybe I'm tripping, so let me know.
No, you definitely might not be. It sounded like Andy Zeiss might have called 2, so it could be somewhere in between.
Maybe it was 2.
It's the level of riding right now is so crazy and it happens so fast, and we don't have a replay, but thankfully we got BMX fans around the world who are watching, and regardless of what we see, we have no impact on the judges.
Yeah.
Wilkie, Cleworth, Homan, and De Jong are our 4 judges. They have their BMX PhD and Masters that they are going to be putting the scores for the riders run, taking the top 15 to the finals. So regardless, we could have said he did 1 or 100. It has no impact.
Actually, I think
it has no impact. So before you guys go crazy in that chat, but let us know what you thought, how many went around. Obviously, we want to call it right, but we got 2 eyes in the booth and we don't have that slow-mo capability. So here we go. Get ready to drop in for his second run. Levi Weidman from Eindhoven in the Netherlands. Whoa, 720 with that can-can. James, I'm gonna highlight the way that he held that can-can and a front flip going up.
Just so locked in, that front flip into the street section, just linking the course up in a slightly different way. The bar to disaster as well up on the bank, and then just bringing it back around and gapping into the spine.
Yes, that was 3 times. That was 3 times with the bars going around. I gotta tell you, I'm loving Weidman's style. Definitely letting it rip, even on that 540. Just smooth on the re-entry. You can see how confident he is. And again, I want to highlight, riders didn't have a lot of time in practice. So the fact that he's able to just hit these big moves while flowing through the course on these lines, I'm really impressed what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, the can 3 as well.
Oh,
there we go. The 7 as well. On the volcano, making that happen again.
Beautiful, beautiful right there. So we want to highlight why we got so excited about that 720. In order to do that in succession from the 3 can-can, you gotta land smooth, and then to hit the pop button on that volcano, it is a steep takeoff and a steep landing. So you gotta be precise. And again, the riders didn't have a lot of time to practice lines like that. When you were out there in practice, you've got 25 other riders, so we broke them down into 2 separate heats. Almost 30 riders zipping around super fast, and then to see Weidman come out and just crush it with those combos, very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to Kristen Poda. Looking great as one of the Estonian riders out here this year. Had a good run, number 1.
Whoa!
Oh, just throwing it.
Well, now we know what that sign was all about. It was the bike flip. That's what that drawing was. We saw the bike flip flying out a little bit, so here we go, coming back. Let's see, go into the box again. Gonna opt to the double tail whip. Unfortunately, slipping a pedal.
Yeah.
Hoder trying to make his presence known as being one of the best Estonian riders. We got that award, and he's got the crowd support right now. Looking to focus. There's the sign we saw on the right side of the screen showing the bike flip. Let's see if he can get it done. Charging into the box. Oh! So close. So close. I hope he goes back up there. Come on, let's collectively put our energy out there.
It's got to be done.
Come on.
In the flare as well. Nah, he's saying no. He's saying no. I guess it's not the kind of trick as well you want to be doing when you're absolutely blowing out. At the end of a run, you want full energy to throw a bike flip like that.
I will say this.
Full commit.
Yeah, we've seen it though before. A rider goes off to the side, they look at Andy Zeiss, who is their in-course MC. He gives them the look and they go back out. We've seen it happen. But I gotta give props, man. That was 2 big swings in the ring, trying to get it done with that bike flip.
Yeah, so Konstantin Rudabashta coming back in, Ukrainian rider, starting off with that 3, our final rider of jam number 5.
Rudabashta right there, going into the box, twisting a turn down, getting the bike nice and vertical, one hand tabletop, charging back at us. Nice tuck no-hander coming up. Big shout out to Ukraine. Being represented right now by Rudabashta. 360, dumping off the back of the bike from that grind. Looked like a feeble grind up. That's where your front wheel is on the ledge, back peg is grinded, trying to get that 360 out. Dumping off the back. Sometimes if a rider's got brakes on their bike and they're coming in a little back wheel heavy, they can pull the brakes.
Yes, there we go, getting it done.
And no brakes were needed this time for that 180 hand plant. And then this time put it in reverse from that disaster. That's gotta feel good. Getting the redemption. And you see a quick little pedal pick over the spine and then getting styly with that downside foot plant, hitting, I believe, his back dropout on the coping, and Rudabashta, boom, that's how you do it.
Yeah, making it happen in his second run. Both runs counting out here, and we're looking at some of the highlights from jam number 5 on screen right now. There's that downward 3, the wrong way over the box. Miller Temple just really showing what he's got, the full extension on that no-hander. Yeah, nice. Coming back over the box. Definitely a lover of the box feature out here at Simple Session. Yeah, and there's the double whip as well. Might have been the one I called as a triple.
Look at the 720, tossing the bars 2 times. What I loved about that is that he tucked the handlebars right in his lap in between. What a cool perspective. Catching the transition on both sides of the bubble, the front flip in between, coming back down, able to keep the momentum rolling. You saw it going for a little bit of a nollie, potential looking for the bar spin. But right here, he looks right over his shoulder, re-entry on a Red Bull vert quarter pipe. But look at the truck driver, lands on that transition, and then with that 720 over the island, hangs up a little bit, but still so impressive to get that done.
Yes, the rotation more than anything, right? It's like, okay, you've hung up slightly, but you've pulled a 7 on that volcano.
And here's a look at that forward bike flip. Nothing is connected to the bike at all, using some kind of sorcery there, trying to get it back, and is so close to making that happen.
Yeah, crazy. And then finishing off with some highlights of Konstantin.
Love the 180 hand plant, clean re-entry, getting both tires down, getting that wrapped around. So that was our highlights, and here we go, scores coming in.
Yeah, so there we go, Levi Wiedmann taking that second spot, 71.25, getting closer to Jose Sedano. Miller Temple taking a 68, putting himself into 3rd place. Unsure kind of quite yet what the kind of bubble's gonna be for the top 15. We'll kind of be able to see a little more accurately as we go on. Kristen Poda sitting in that 15th place with a 20.25. Someone in the chat asking earlier what the red names mean. That is the people who have just ridden, so we can clearly see where they're slotting in. So Konstantin Rudabashta getting that 18th position. And we move into jam number 6, the final jam, before we take a bit of a break and let the second half of the contest get warmed up on the park. And our riders are going to be Lin Suhu from China, 10 years old, insane. Kaidi Ozawa as well from Japan, Juan Caicedo from Colombia, and Dean Florin from Germany. rounding it out. 10 years old, Daryl. How amazing is that?
10 years old. Yes, you are seeing that correct on the screen. 10 years old. We already had Flip, who rode earlier. I believe he was 32, right? So if we do the math right there, big age gap in between our riders. I love seeing it out here. The future of BMX in real time.
Yeah, for sure.
Imagine being 10 and traveling to the other side of the planet and then being on the big stage here in the stadium, the arena, the crowd, the energy, the pressure, all of this. That's what's so cool here about Simple Session. It's our youngest rider I've ever seen here in the BMX.
And then going back to primary school when you get home as well. Like, what's the school called in America when you're...
Elementary. Yeah.
Going back to elementary school as like the coolest kid in your class.
Hey,
right?
guess what I did?
Yeah. I was just over in Estonia just riding an international BMX contest with some of the best BMXers in the world. So funny. Yeah, I mean, at that age as well, do you feel the nerves? You're 10, you're just loving it, right? You're just hyped to be here, so. Chris Zed's in the chat as well. Chris Z saying, let's do it, China. Back in Minshu.
Hugh, drop it in. No-hander over the island. Again, a rider can select any part of the course that they want, and I love that he picked the island first. Bar spin from the 10-year-old. Pumping around. Take a look as he goes over the bubble, getting some tabletop style.
I was going to say, looks confident and stylish.
Yeah.
Oh, just hanging up slightly, but keeping it going.
He actually gets coached by Jack Clark. You know him as a Simple Session fave. He's going to be riding later in the competition. Tuck, no-hander over that spine. Chinese rider coming back. Look at this. 18 seconds to go. Youngest rider here. Bar spin at height, might I add. Yeah, tabletop again. Showing that he's got some style. These ramps are 3 times the height. X up over that hip. And that is time with the bar spin at the buzzer.
Amazing, man. That's so cool. I wasn't even riding until I was 12, so to be out here at 10, just, showing what you've got. Getting that contest experience in at 10 years old, you know, that's just phenomenal. Like, by the time he's 16, he'll just feel so confident in this environment, you know, so.
It's wild to think we say by the time he's 16, right?
Crazy. Katie Azawa, our next rider from Japan, 17 years old. Doing it for Zitensha Depot.
Yes!
Oh.
360 bar spin, kicking that downside tail whip. You can see the toboggan transfer, 360 bar spin backwards over the box. If you think that's a tongue twister, try doing all these tricks like a backflip double bar spin. 44 seconds in, and he has gotten a lot of tricks done. Alley-oop 270, coming back with a lot of speed. Double bar spin, looking really confident.
Yeah, really linking this together.
Yes! Especially on the flat bottom, you can just see even between the jumps, he just knows where he's at, he's really in control, and then it's shown when he just tosses the bars with ease, might I add, on the quarter pipe, backflip tail whip with 15 seconds to go. There's a big difference of doing that this far into your run as opposed to your first hit on the quarter pipe. Quick bar spin. If he can keep the gas going up to the finish line, this could be a huge, huge run, and that is time.
Wow, Katie Azawa, 17. Again, like, I mean, we talk about 10 years old, that is crazy young, but 17 to be out here looking that confident. Wow. The next generation coming through. The next generation's here right now. Juan Casedo out of Colombia. Super influenced by people like Logan Martin and Carl Baldock. They're here to make his own mark at Simple Session 2025.
All right, we're gonna need your help with that, with this crazy paint job he's got on here, this anodized frame. How many tail whips went around?
I wasn't even gonna call it.
Under the bright lights, you guys gotta let us know, even on that 360 right there. It looks wild style. To me, it looked like it was potentially 3, but again, with this anodized color For all we know, it could have been 10 put in there.
Taking that flip over the spine as well, and then linking into the street section. Oh my word, the front flip up. That is outrageous.
Yeah,
that was not what I was expecting to see in that moment, Daryl.
And that's actually perfect point that you're bringing. When a rider can do a trick on an obstacle that's not really what it's intended for or it's expected, that definitely can make a good impression with the judges. And when you see the front flip in the street section, it could definitely make a little bit of a mark. So let's see, he's got 3, 2, 1, and that is going to be time.
Yeah, I was really intrigued to see what he was going for there, riding across, obviously riding pegless. So I was like, okay, what are we about to see? Something up on the quarter, and then just boom, straight out the bang, front flip up. Amazing, great stuff. So we move now to our final rider, Dean Florian. 25 years old, coming out of Germany.
So cool how many people around the world are cheering on our riders, especially on the chat. We actually have Dr. Ebinger out in Phoenix right now, who is watching the BMX action and seeing our German rider, 360 Superman seat grab. James, I love the way that he paused in the air to just grab the seat, extend it a little back, and then continued his rotation as he threw the bike right back under him. Here we go, downside 360 tail whip over the hip. Look at the height right there on the 360 double tail whip over that island. Trying to get the distance right and keep his speed as he threes up into our elevated street section. Foot jam on the sub. Firing back at us, quick back wheel manual, building the momentum. Where's he going? Yes! Hand plant on that coping. Looking to keep this going. Love that re-entry, hitting that hip smooth. Setting up for the 360 table. Hitting a quick opposite air. Grabbing that transition. 5 seconds to go. Final thought. Oh, okay. Okay.
Looking back round for the flare to finish off.
Okay. I like that right there. Flat turn, had to get that little pocket and said, you know, I got some juice in it. I'll show you what's up.
Yeah, nice, nice. Just finding some slightly different lines as well there, Dean, which is cool. Hitting the park in a slightly different way and, yeah, managing to get that hip transfer back up onto the Red Bull bank to get all that speed that he wanted to link back into the box section. We move, though, back to the top of jam number 6 for 10-year-old Minju Hu from China. First Chinese athlete at Simple Session as well, so big shouts to him. Youngest athlete this year. I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear we haven't got anyone younger than 10 here. That would be quite an accomplishment.
I mean, my mind is still blown that we are witnessing a 10-year-old dropping in.
Yeah.
The ramps are 3 times the height of him. I mean, maybe even this big quarter that he's transferring into might even be 4 times the height. Coming in over the box, double bar spin. You saw before he dropped in, he was throwing the bars, checking it out, feeling it out, and now making it possible over that box jump. The brakeless rider charging back. Yeah, style over that hip. The 10-year-old Chinese rider finding that pocket to come back.
Impressed by how much speed he's managing to carry as well. For a little guy, you know, like he's not going to have that strength yet, but he's really managing to bring the speed and get the pump round this course.
If you don't have that body weight to put into the transition, it's sometimes hard to keep that momentum going, but looking very comfortable out there, especially throwing the bars on the quarter pipe, even as opposed to over the box jump. Yeah, twisting that X up, hanging up just a little bit, flying on up, and it looks like that is going to be time right there.
And what an amazing showing for him for his Simple Session debut. He will just be taking this whole experience in his strides. And what amazing experience it is to be building at that age, you know? Okay, we go back to Katie Ozawa. Made a real impression on run number 1.
Katie's actually part of a brother-sister duo out here. Earlier, his sister, Muharo, rode and actually got 2nd place in our sister session. And I know right now that Katie would love to be in the finals and get on top of the podium, take back a brother-sister combo, which I love seeing Japan being so well represented, flowing and floating, double bar spin on that far quarter pipe. Again, the confidence, you can just see the way that able to flow through, and in a lot of ways, I keep mentioning the flat bottom, but you just see, hey, they got the speed and the momentum and knowing exactly where he's gonna go on the course. Charging in, backflip with the tail up, again, 15 seconds. Now the other thing I'm just gonna highlight, again, the fact that he's doing a similar run is potentially not gonna work in his favor, right? The judges wanna see the two different things. He's throwing huge tricks and really clean, might I add, but they do wanna see two different runs out there. I don't know how much that's gonna necessarily negatively impact somebody. We're about to find out when the score comes in. But that's definitely something that they stressed in the riders meeting, and they wanted to let the riders know, because it is an overall impression. We don't want to necessarily see the same run either a little better or with another couple tricks like an extra bar spin here or there, which we might see in the finals, because in the finals it's going to be best run counts. But today it's an overall.
That's the thing, right? Yeah, it's kind of bringing that consistency across two runs and bringing a bit of variation. And then tomorrow it's going to be all out, all killer, no filler for the finals, for the top 15. If you are just joining us, it's 15 qualifying through. And on course right now from Colombia, we have Juan Caicedo. Huge front flip over the box.
What I loved about that is he hit the pause button mid-air. You saw that he just held that front flip for a second and then continued his rotation. Really cool style.
Yeah, I love the shape on that flip over the spine as well.
Quick Superman C grab, 360, grabbing the transition, coming back. We're gonna need all eyes watching this man's anodized bike, because it's hard to see the number of whips that he throws down out there. But right now, it's sparkling, trying to shine with 12 seconds. Come on, Juan. 360 flying up. Here, Andy Zeiser, on-course MC, counting him down, putting the flare at the end, waving it on off, getting a nice round of applause out here.
Yeah, a strong run, doing Colombia proud. Yeah, great showing for Juan Caicedo. And our final rider to drop in jam number 6 before we take a little break is going to be Germany's Dean Florian, who we were saying kind of found some of the more creative lines here, some lines that people weren't taking, hopping in on that big bank. Yes, nice. Dean linking into the big extended bowl corner there. There's the whip over the bubble and into the island. Yeah, barring through.
Oh, dialed. Look at the height then on the no-handed 360. So when you have the jumps in succession like that, we call it a rhythm section, and you're able to get a good pop on the second hit, it means that you're really smooth and with clean re-entry. And the fact that Dean was able to pull up the height and go a little bit higher this time, it just shows how in control. Checking in on top of that gut face mural with the hand plant on the coping, coming back down, 15 seconds, re-entry back in. Look how smooth he was over that hip. Taking his feet off. You see he shook his head both ways. That wasn't exactly what he was looking for on that no-footer. Bar spin, 360, and that is time. Tiempo with another flare at the buzzer for Dean Florian.
And then you mentioned there as well, like, you know, the judges looking for you to mix those lines up a bit. Yeah, there were elements that were similar, but Dean found some different ways to hit the course in run number 2, and the guys are going to absolutely love that. Checking out some of the highlights right now. Minju Hu.
Gonna mention 10 years old, right while you're watching this, bar spin on the big stage, and then here over the box jump. Look at the hands, 1, 2, and he actually caught that and guided it around. You saw when he landed, it was almost a little bit loose. This was so smooth. 360 bar spin to downside tail whip, wrapping around that head tube, double bar spin with perfect cadence in that backflip. I gotta say, the chat is definitely lighting up, talking about how smooth his spins and his flips right there. Very unique confident and controlled. But Juan right here kicking it around.
It was 3.
All right,
it was
all
3.
right. We thought it was 3, but again, that oil slick right there could have been 10 for all we know.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, just so controlled on that flip. That was the front flip that just blew my mind, just caught me so off guard. That's not something like riding the course as well that I'd looked at and gone, oh yeah, that's possible. Like someone's going to do that, you know? Mind blowing. And another great front flip as well, just tucking the back in to come in for the landing. Right on that Doritos logo.
And look at that 360 Superman C-grab. Nice extension right there. Getting the leg scissor kick for some extra style points and beautiful wrap around that head tube. And I love the 360 double tail whip at height, might I add. And look how he just finds that re-entry nice and high. And then he was able to pump around that bowl corner, check it in with the coping, putting the hand right on top, coming back in on our nice tribute piece right there. Shout out to the late, great Pat Casey, who I know is riding with all of our riders looking down on us today. No-handed 360. Again, beautiful tuck with the bars, finding that transition coming down.
Yeah, so we can see what those runs have done as well, what the scores coming in from the judges are doing to the leaderboard. So Katie Azawa into 3rd place with a 68, Dean Florian into 5th with a 64, Juan Caicedo into 7th with a 57.37, Ben Towle in 8th there for the final riders on the first page. And on the bubble right now, we've got Torno Krutz from Estonia with that 26.50. That is the score to beat right now to get into that final 15. And we see that Minju, who gets that 17th. What an amazing experience for the 10-year-old, getting a 21.37. So we are going to take a little break here before we head into the second half of the competition. So go and grab some drinks, some snacks, whatever you want, because we've got so much more BMX coming up for you in just a moment's time.
We have 3.5 minutes left, 3.5 minutes for warm-up left. And then I'd like to ask everyone to leave the course but jam number 7. Everyone but jam number 7, please leave the course in 3 minutes.
All right, guys, welcome back to the BMX qualification here at Symbol Session 2025. It's James Threlfall in the booth alongside Mr. Daryl now. Back for your 13th time, man. Feel wild?
It does, and it feels like just yesterday was the first time that I came here, right? Well, actually, the first event I went to was 2011, and it was Summer Session. That's a sister event that sometimes Symbol Session puts on. Somehow, though, fast forward, it's 2025, and this is the 25th anniversary. Crazy. 25th year. So if you haven't joined us before, please, the invitation is there. There's going to be a 26th year. We know that, right? We know that.
Of course.
We have 25 years of history. So I want you to start planning now. We don't have the exact date, but it's probably going to be in March. It's usually the first contest of the year, sets the tone. I know if you're watching at home, you've been going, that crazy event, the one with the colorful ramps in the big arena where the crowds go nuts. I heard the parties are insane. Yes, it's all true, and you are invited. So please, come join us for 26.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it. Shouts to you, though, wherever you are watching in the world right now on the YouTube live chat on the Symbol Session YouTube. If you want to like and subscribe as well, you will get notified whenever Symbol Session is doing things. But yeah, let us know in the live chat right now where you are watching from, what time it is. But let us know what your snack situation is as well. I want to know what you're eating, what you're drinking right now, what you're enjoying. And we see on screen right now a reminder of our standings. Jose Sedano still in first place, Levi Wiedmann in second, and Katie Ozawa in third. So we're going to see if that gets shaken up as we head through. And heads up, we've got some heavy hitters.
Take a moment and give a big shout out to Jose Sedano being in that top spot. My man from Santiago, Chile. He grew up with the famous BMX Zarita brothers, Coco and Wani Zarita. They ride at Signal Park. I had a chance to go down there and hang with them many years ago, and right now he's in the top spot in qualifying. But take a look at these next 4 warriors who are going to be trying to vie for that top position.
Yeah, our first rider in of the second part of BMX qualification is Michael Moguillon. We've also got Tom Russell, Sem Kok, and Ezekiel Helmreich out of Argentina. So I know we've had some Argentinian fans in the chat, so let us know if you are still with us. I imagine you've been hanging around to watch Ezekiel, so yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
And if you are just joining us, this is Simple Session 25, BMX men's qualification. It doesn't matter if you were in the first jam heat or if you are in the 13th, which is the last. You're going to be competing against each other. There's over 50 riders, and we are only taking 15 that move on to the finals. Each rider will have 2 runs, 60 seconds, and both runs will count because it is an overall impression out there. And as we get ready to start jam number 7, Michael Moguillon is looking to make quite the impression, riding for Haro and Demolition, dropping in right now over the island with the big air bar spin, getting a little bit loose. Let's see if he can recover, and he does nicely. So much of BMX is taking the mental and the impossible and making it possible, and we're seeing Moguillon right now charging a little faster than we've seen each rider previously. I love that fast plan. It's setting up perfectly for that pocket tabletop and the backflip variation.
Yeah, just not even halfway through his run yet, and it feels like he's crammed so much in. Heading over to link things up into the street section of the course with that 270 bar on the hip transfer and coming back over.
And this is a perfect example of what I was talking about. This Nate Wessel design course is so well made, especially in the bottom transitions. When a rider pumps into the ramp, they can really generate a lot of speed, and it can separate them from the rest of the pack. And we actually saw that in the first half of Michael's run. Unfortunately washing out. It's not going to hurt his score too much. That was at the buzzer. But we saw in the first half of Michael's run, he had so much power and speed he was able to generate, specifically in the bottom of those transitions. Earlier in the heats, we saw Ben Towell do that a little bit in the bottom, but right there you could really see where that speed and power, and it's just going to get interesting as we work our way through the rest of the jam sessions.
Yeah, next to go out of the UK, we've got Tom Russell, a good collection of British riders out here this year.
Yes, that is style. Shout out to Camp Peak in the chat saying, let's go, Tom Russell, making things work. Yo, talk about a 4-piece combo right there. Hot with the bars, I believe in both directions, and then twisting that turn down. There you go, tweaking things off to the side, not twisting the handlebars for an unlook down. Tom Russell, I know so many riders are excited to see him out here letting things go. Definitely makes style a little bit more of his focus for his BMX path. We're trying to see what he can work out here as he is finding his line with 22 seconds on the clock. Come on, everyone watching at home, let's put our collective energy out there and try to get behind Russell right now as he bonks his front wheel. Looked like he potentially went dark side on top of that deck. Going pretty far past that coping. Dropping back down, time for a final thought. Aaron over that spine. The Colt rider is going to wind up calling it. Love seeing Russell out here. You see him getting a pound right there from Jordan Godwin, who is yet to ride. He'll be in a later heat. He's got that mustache ready to go. But now we're working things out. Our third rider, one of my favorites, coming all the way from Holland. We're talking about the Netherlands. This is Sem Kok. If you hadn't had a chance to see Sem ride before, you're about to witness a masterclass in fluid style.
His third time out here at Simple Session as well.
Love that camera angle perspective. Look at the tabletop into the Doritos, and he's got the speed.
Oh, come on! Hitting that huge gap quarter to quarter, traveling pretty much half the park to make that happen, Daryl.
First rider we saw light up that transfer along with that transfer line, so no one else has taken the course in this way. I also want to note that he flew into that Dorito shark fin over the box, and it's really cool to see his unique perspective and also getting the bike totally tweaked sideways on that knack air. So Sem is working things out with 30 seconds to go. As we mentioned, masterclass in style, and we're seeing him just milk these pockets for all they're worth as he is just flowing and floating through, pressing that front wheel down, double peg, showing the judges, hey, I've got some street style too. Bar spin, wedging that wheel up against the Visit Estonia subwall in 10 seconds. Come on, Sem. 180, still going. Double peg down. First rider we saw work through that kink from the top to bottom in the men's class. And a Smith grind with the full pull from Sem Cock.
Yes, we've seen a lot of riders doing that gap to double peg down the kink, but to ride through like that, I mean, it's a bit of a roller coaster heading down there. It's quite a tight kink trail, so yeah.
Yeah, believe it or not, I think it actually might be harder to grind through that gap to it.
I think so. It is, it's fully, you haven't got time to kind of compose yourself and get any balance through that. It's just constantly, you're down, cross down, it's so fast. But now we are in with our final rider in jam number 7, Ezekiel Helmreich from Argentina.
Ezekiel is a powerhouse. You're gonna see when power and finesse come together. Always known for having a unique eye when it comes to contest riding, and that was a wild one. I know that Sem hit that line as well, but that is a huge hip with a very steep re-entry. Thankfully, he was able to grab that landing, 270 floating over the bubble, hitting that pocket, able to set up for the box jump. He did not take any pedals. That is something to note. When a rider doesn't pedal on the course, it means that they're completely in control. And I want to give extra style points right there because I know the judges saw under the hood of that fast plant air, popping off the coping with his foot and was able to just boost coping height. Checking in with that front wheel, foot jam 180 on the spine, coming in fakie. And that is going to be time right there for Ezekiel Helmreich.
Amazing stuff. We head back to the top of the leaderboard, top of the jam, sorry. If you are only just joining us, this is basically 2 one-minute runs the riders are getting, and it's overall impression. We aren't checking scores after run 1. We're kind of just letting the riders go out. It's almost like an organized jam format that we're running right now. The judges communicating throughout, making notes, and then at the end of the heat, they will then pull their scores together. So, Michael Margoyan.
And right now, I know that everyone in Santiago, Thomas Fuentes is cheering on Jose Sedana, who is our current leader with the score to beat is a 73 flat. Got a lot of royalty here in our chat. What up, Jim Solinsky, the legendary BMX rider who invented so many of the grinds out there, is cheering on from Buffalo, New York. Look at that one-handed tabletop into the backflip turn down. Now take a look at what I was talking about, how he just is able to boost through these transitions, building up speed and momentum. No corners were cut on this course. Even though it's here temporarily, you really have the opportunity to pump into these transitions. And we're seeing Michael right now be able to build his speed almost too fast for that foot plant.
Yeah, coming up with the tooth on the quarter. Building that speed back up, that maybe lost from dropping his foot there. There's the 5 to flat as well. And then taking it back round into the street section, seeing what he's got for the final 10 seconds of his run.
Yeah, again, it's overall impression. So even at a moment like this, when a rider might just want to wave it off, you want to make sure you keep your head in the game and try to make that impression, because top 15 will be moving on to the finals. And sometimes really when it comes down to that little spot at the end, it can make the difference. A lot of riders, their nerves are out there, they don't maybe have the experience, and they kind of wave off their second run. So if you're even able to get 2 full runs, 120 seconds in the ring, it could really be a make or break to make it the finals.
Yeah, definitely. Tom Russell coming back in for his second run. Cult rider, coming from kind of near Derby.
Want to hear some more Tom Russell fans in the chat. I know you guys have been lighting it up. He's always a favorite with his style right here. Take a look at that one-footed tabletop, totally showing that bottom bracket up to the nosebleed seats here in the Unibet Arena. 360 tabletop completely laid over. And look at the way that he just finds that pocket. Oh, beautiful the way he landed. No pedals taken, and you saw he was able to generate enough momentum to sky so high and then come back for more in the opposite direction over the bubble.
Big fan of the height on that table as well. Oh, just heading the wrong way over the box, dropping the wheel.
No pedals taken. Again, want to highlight, riders didn't have a lot of time to practice, and when you are on the course, you got almost 30 other of the world's best riders out there, and they are all hungry, looking for the line, seeing what to do. I love the way that he put his front wheel up on top of the deck, sweeping the deck, almost so far that he was able to bonk the dark side of his dropout up there. Full tweak on that turn down, and that is going to be buzzer for Tom Russell.
Yeah, great couple of runs for him. I'd say run 2, maybe even looking stronger than the first. Kind of latter part of run number 1, felt like he maybe got a bit lost out there. Run number 2, just feeling a lot more kind of composed. So yeah, big props to Tom. Sam coming back in, one of your favorites, Daryl.
Yeah, I like seeing Alfie Crocker out there saying, let's go, Tom. But right now, it is all about Sem Kok. Again, a masterclass in style, jumping all the way to that shark fin. Let's see if he goes for the same run setup that he did the first time. Again, judges want to see some variety. I know that that can definitely be favored well, but he's a lot cleaner in run number 2, and there's that transfer that we saw going all the way into that very steep re-entry, 360 table, twisting the turn down, and look at the way he's accelerating. Almost halfway done on the clock, but you wouldn't know it because he's just building more and more momentum. Sem going over the side of the island, looking to generate in that bowl corner. Going back to our street section, quick manual on the way down. Yeah, there's that ice pick, the back wheel checking in, double tire ride, visit Estonia. Double peg on that A-frame. Smith going up, he's showing the judges, hey, I'm pretty well rounded out here. I got pegs on my bike. Nate built these street obstacles. I'm gonna use them. First rider we saw use that camelback too. And just saying, hey, I'm gonna put my tires on as much of this course as I can. And you know, that's cool. That's what we talk about. 2 different runs, right? The first of the runs started out a little similar, but he put some other toppings in there and took a couple of other obstacles on the way. And those are things that our judges, I mean, you should see their notes they got. They take it all in.
Yeah, such an esteemed panel of judges. And they're going to be checking out what Ezekiel Helmreich has in his second run. The Argentinian, bit of a powerhouse, literally rides everything. Dirt, Park Street. He doesn't discriminate between disciplines. He just loves getting out there on his bike.
Yes, that 360 to fakie up there coming back at us. Look at Ezekiel go. Where is he going to choose to for that hip again, just like Sem?
Oh, such a steep bank as well.
It's blind coming in that thing. I had a chance to go on top of that. It's like basically jumping into a vert quarter pipe.
Yeah, you could so easily take that to flat if you just carry even like a fraction more speed.
I like the way that he went over that bubble too. Like you saw just how much control he has, you know. That's the thing that really separates riders apart. That fast plant right there, super stylish. You see in the chat, the moment he did that, the hearts and 100s went totally nuts. And I gotta agree with you, I'm gonna hit that heart button too for that. I'll hit the 100 right there in the chat. We're hitting it because that fast plant was awesome. Nice and smooth for Ezekiel.
Yeah, Melissa Di Filippo dropping the Argentinian flag, sending the love to Ezekiel, and that rounds out jam number 7. We are keeping things moving quickly today as we see highlights coming up on screen right now. Of course, going back to Michael, the first rider in jam number 7.
Yeah, and as we look at these highlights, just gonna give a shout out to some people in the chat right here. I see Shane Dog, 4, right, and Ricky Rat, Team Soil. We lost one of their BMX family out from Southern California, so just gonna give a moment and a shout out to Team Soil, Ricky Rat, Bar Spinner Ryan. We love you guys. And I know Ricky Rat right now is cheering on our riders, looking down with us. So much love to Ricky Rat and the whole BMX fam out in California feeling that one. But right now we are feeling this 360 bar spin X up to turn down out of Russell. I love that we got that second perspective. And look at the way he just sweeps the deck up there. He puts his front wheel box so far in. That turn down is as tweaked as you can get. Doing it for Colt. I know Robbie Morales, the team captain, definitely approves. And that 360 tabletop is certified right there by Tabe Lords. I know that Instagram feed would definitely approve of that. But Semcock was all about bringing the flavor. One of the only riders we've seen utilize that shark fin, boosting the height on that tabletop. He had that transfer no one else touched. First rider we saw work through the kink. And then at the end of the run, he did that Smith grind, and in the second run, he went through the camelback. So I have a feeling Sem might shake up the top spot.
Yeah, I've been thinking this because this is what we were saying earlier on, where you might have some street riders stick to the street, the party riders going to stay more into the transition elements. But we're saying the judges aren't going to necessarily mark that down, but you can only get marked up if you are someone that ride both. And Sem did that. He just found like that transfer, that gap from quarter to quarter is something different that we haven't seen yet. And then I'm going to be the first guy to go through the kink as well. So that is the advantage to being in one of the earlier heats, maybe, that you can go, I'm going to be the first dude out there doing this.
Yes, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but that fast plant was buttery. I know, and we're going to hit this heart thing again in the chat. I'm going nuts right here. I'm hitting the heart. If you guys see a million hearts going, that is for me with that fast plant. That thing was beautiful. Ezekiel just getting the height, popping right off the top, and that is what BMX is all about.
And there we go, we're seeing the standings getting shaken up. Ezekiel Helmreich into 6th, Michael McGowan into 7th, Tom Russell with a 61 into the top 8.
Wow.
A big shake-up, and literally Sam Cott with a 60 into 9th. So all the guys grouped together, that top 15 is going to get shaken up jam after jam, so you do not want to go anywhere.
Now I want to note something, it is top 15 going, but the judges, maybe their eye that they're watching really want to see two clearly different runs, right? I'm not taking away from anyone else's riding out there, but we saw Semcock light it up with some unique lines and unique tricks, but it wasn't enough to even put him in like the top maybe 4 or 5, right? Anywhere in there. Not taken away from it, but the judges, let's just all keep that in mind as we progress through the heats.
Yeah, so speaking of progressing through the heats, jam number 8 about to get going. We are rolling through right now. Alvaro Escobar coming in first, Stefan Atencio coming in just after from Barcelona, Chris Canucks coming in from Latvia, and Santiago Laverde from Colombia coming in too. So those are the 4 riders we got coming up for you in jam number 8. Alvaro going first though, 4th time at Simple Session. Coming out of Costa Rica, just bringing the energy. He's been fired up since he arrived on a flight at a similar time to me, so we kind of got the ride back to the hotel together. And let me tell you, he has just been pumped the whole time.
Yeah, with good reason. His first year at Simple Session was right in 2021, and it was actually his first pro comp. He came all the way from Costa Rica. He had no money. He barely could even make it to the event, and he really made a name for himself, and it helped jumpstart his career. He had big runs, and everyone was like, who is this guy from Costa Rica who is just doing crazy hard combinations? And everyone knows now Alvaro Esquivel brings it at Simple Session. So it's cool to see the way that that really gave him a platform, and I know he's hyped being here right now.
Yeah, already kind of linking it together. Oh man, that was unexpected, and hitting that rail in a totally different way.
Yeah, that was very cool, meeting it around. Big shout out to Devin Smiley, who's also in the chat. Devin, we love when you are on course riding here at Simple Session, but we also love the fact that you're watching with all of us, having a great time. All right, come on, Alvaro, let's get it going. You got 24 seconds. As we mentioned just 4 years ago, he has big bar spin. He pulled some of the craziest combos on the front wheel. He's got that ability when he rides, very in control, just chilling it out. He's laughing, throwing it up. Definitely changed his riding style a little bit with some of those downside whips. Love the way that he's wrapping around that head tube, meeting in the middle, pressing on the front wheel. Oh!
Getting with that 180 off to flat. I'm loving it. Bringing that energy. Just literally a ball of energy out on the course. And the crowd loves that as well. They want to see. They want to see the personality. They want to see the character. And up next, coming out of Barcelona, originally from Costa Rica, we got Stefan Atencio.
Stefan Atencio, if you haven't had a chance to watch him ride, you actually might have without knowing it, because he does some of the biggest 360s when it comes to street riding down stair sets. So if you've seen somebody in the last couple of years on Instagram and you went, what the F is going on? It most likely was Stefan Atencio going all the way to flat. Right now he is on the course though and looking to grab some of this transition as he cruises back to the box jump.
Just didn't quite carry the speed into the flip, but sent it anyway. Coming up slightly short on the box, but keeping it going, linking back round to the street section.
It's funny to watch that, because that's almost the equivalent when a park rider goes to the street section and does like a quick little jib on a rail, and that was him over the box saying, hey guys, I can still do some stuff over here. But he's such a talented rider and ripper, so let's see where he's going. Let's see where he's going. Oh! Looking for that gap to grind right there.
Yeah, looked like searching for the double peg and didn't quite come up for him. But gonna have run number 2. Maybe gonna have to do a bit of work in run number 2 as well to make up for the fall. But we move now to Chris Canucks from Latvia. 5th time out here at Simple Session, but also currently living in Barcelona.
So cool and special how all the countries are so close here in the Baltics. Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, right? We're all super close and connected, and you feel that camaraderie that's out here. If you've never been to this part of the world, it's really special. Yes, big gap to ice pick. Really smooth catching that grind. Same with that Smith. You're seeing a lot of speed right here.
A lot of love for Latvia going on in the chat right now. We see you.
And with good reason. That nollie to turn down right there was really cool. The tail whip going off the stage. The nollie pressing off that front wheel, getting a little bit of that front wheel pop. Threading the needle on that spine, coming back around.
It's such a tight volcano up there to be able to link combos together like that. You have to be so precise on your landing before you pop again. Yeah, nice whip over that pyramid rail into the street section. Oi! Just clipping on the way out. Manny through.
Final thoughts, the manual.
And that right there is time for Chris Canucks as we move to Santiago La Verde.
Ooh, gotta tell you, big fan of this guy's riding. You guys know him, been ripping it for the last few years. Living out in Barcelona. Known not only for crazy street combos, but the last few years ripping the tabletops, which I'm always a big fan of. Let's see, 360 version, that's what we're talking about. Laying it over, and then he's blessing us with a one-footed version. I am loving this already. If we just called it right there. Oh, and the one hand! The one hand! All right, let's call that run, because that was perfect. I love it. This is just all, this right here is bonus. This is how I'm looking at it. Just bonus. Downside whip over the bubble. Look at the 360 with the bar spin. Santiago now. Riding and repping for Kink. Jay Rowe, team manager. Good choice. I know he's out at the Cut, his bike shop in Barcelona. They are watching this feed right now, getting super hyped, cheering him on, saying, let's go, Santiago. Yeah, alley-oop with that bar. Watching out for photographer there. That's famed BMX photographer Jeff Zielinski getting a good shot of that downside tail whip over the hip. Yeah, throwing that no-hander right there. That's another cool thing about this. Almost everyone you see on the course who's working a part of this event are lifetime skaters or riders themselves. You mentioned Jeff Zielinski. His roots go back so far. East Coast BMX. Actually grew up riding with Jeff. Made his first BMX street video known as Grizzle, then Don't Quit Your Day Job. Shout out to Bob Skirbo, who I know is watching this as well. And it's just cool seeing the history, not only of the support of the other riders, but knowing what is what when it comes to this. Because over 25 years, it takes a village of everyone coming together, the community around the world. That's why, again, you are invited. We love you in the chat, but please come here next year. All right, this man means business. Alvaro Esquivel taking the jacket off. He is ready to shine out here. He wants to hear the crowd cheering him on.
Oh, just whipping straight in there as well into a 180 whip on the landing of the box. There's that. Oh, yes, amazing. We talk about those kind of nose manny variations that he's just brought to Simple Session and blown minds with. Just clipping, hanging up on the way in.
Riding and repping right here for Cult. I remember after his first Simple Session, I actually got on the horn with Robbie Morales, and I was like, I know you're flowing this guy some gear down in Costa Rica, but you got to make him more part of your program. I'm not even going to say it was my words that did it, because Robbie can spot talent, and he put him on. And right now we are seeing Alvaro trying to make it into the finals. Top 15 will be moving. Let's see, tail whip to flat. All right. Digging it right there. And that nose press coming around to Fakey. Let's see if there's a final thought coming out. Looking up at the clock, and he knows that that is tiempo right there. Time. Calling it off.
Yeah, awesome stuff from Alvaro. And also Luke in the chat saying, best event ever. Keep on Mixed Street and Park. I like that, which I kind of agree. You know, I really like those contests where you can get deeper into one and the other, but when you see the riders mixing up between the two, I find it so exciting. Stefan Atencio coming in right now, as we were saying, originally from Costa Rica, now killing the streets of Barcelona on a daily basis. Coming through with the double peg 3 out.
Yeah. Chat is going off. Shout out to Albert Mercado in here watching right now. Atencio as he turns things down on that step up. Checking in with that front wheel, dropping back. Come on, Atencio. So I mentioned he's known for some of the burliest 360s on street. Going for the backflip. Definitely a street-focused rider. Cool to see that he's just bringing it a little bit to the box. 20 seconds to go. Gap to Smith grind. Again, for all of our new riders out there, that's when you grind that front peg, your back wheel goes up on top of the ledge. It's a little bit more difficult than the feeble, which is the reverse of that. And generally speaking, you gotta lean your body over a little bit more, but having no trouble at all with that gap to double peg this time, coming down nice and clean. Oh, all right, going up and then hitting that reverse with the 180.
Yeah, great stuff from Stefan Atencio. And he was loving it as well. He seems pretty hyped with those 2 runs. We'll have to see what the judges think. Very shortly, all scores come in at the end of the jam. 2 more riders to go. And Chris Canucks has his eye on something, and he needs someone to move out of the way for him to hit.
Looking to clear the course. Your guess is as good as ours. You guys have any thoughts of what you might think? Let us hear it. He's getting that thumbs up. He's looking to clear the far side of the course. I don't know if it's on the street section. Maybe he's going to try to pull a Sean Burns / Jimmy Levan and jump out of the park. I know there's been other comps where Mike Hoder's done that as well. Let's see what it's going to be.
Rax the Great says he's landing a plane. It may well be. It may well be. It might just be that he is the plane.
So many legends right now in the chat. What's up, Eddie, Devin, Greg Illingworth, all cheering on, excited to see what is about to happen. Where's he going? Around the turn.
Oh, damn! The whip to flat. We saw Bath take the 3 earlier. It must be in his mind as well, because Bav got injured hitting that drop. And oh wow, what a way to just open up for Chris Canucks.
Yeah, Canucks right there getting that tail whip smooth. I mean, can he even say smooth on a massive drop like that? He did. He hit the tires both at the same time. Came down, able to roll out nice and clean, keep the run going. Look at that, holding on to the double crossbar right there. I think he's just hyped to have pulled that tail whip. And you know that was eating him up the last few days, saying, hey, I want to get that tail whip. This is what I was talking about, the cool thing with Simple Session, where it's really just, sometimes a rider wants to get something done. They feel good, the crowd's giving the love, putting the attention out in the world, and getting it back. Because there's not many stages for BMX in the world like this, where we've got the BMX family, everyone's watching, and you can get that shine time. Right? It's hard to have a career as a BMX rider. I know we all ride for fun. It's in our blood. Believe me, we wouldn't be doing it. You give blood to ride by eating it so hard all the time. But to have that path that you can follow and have that stage, that's what makes this so special. And when we have moments like that with Chris Canucks doing the tail whip and everyone showing the love, that is what it's about as well.
Yeah, and I think it's sweet that the leaderboard only really shows one part of the story, you know? Like, sure, it shows who was able to hold it down for the best runs, but it doesn't show those standout tricks.
Yeah, 360, one hand dipping that front wheel down. I know Rob Darden is in the chat watching. He's also a man known for his one-handed tables and is psyched anytime that he sees Santiago Laverde let one rip as well. Look at that buttery smooth downside tail whip. I mean, that thing was just a work of art. Look at the 360 bar spin coming up, known as that truck driver. Yes.
Linking up the street section, coming in for the kinked rail.
Oh!
Taking the double peg to ice down that last bit of the rail as well.
Okay, I like seeing that right there. So now, James, you're doing double duty. You're on the mic for BMX and skate, right? Which is really cool that you get a chance to witness and watch it. I know you're a fan of both.
Yeah.
But what was going on in skate qualifying? Were people doing a gap to rail?
So
were they going through it?
Gap to rail, we had some gap to 50-50s, gap to lip slide, so in the middle of the board, kind of like a board slide, if you imagine that. But yeah, we're kind of not, we haven't seen anyone go from top to bottom yet, and that's kind of what I'm excited to see. But also, I mean, I saw Courage so comfortably throw a bar spin to ice down the rail as well, like gapping to the last bit. So I feel like there's a lot to come on that kink rail.
We all know Courage isn't human. He's like, right? And that's the exciting thing. Like, Courage so many times has been in the finals here at Simple Session. He's been on the podium. He's never won it before.
Yeah.
Right? And like, you guys all at home are watching and going, oh, maybe this doesn't look like a Courage Adams course, right? And you know what I'm talking about, because this is a street section, yes, but these are ups and downs, really tall, and it'd be hard to do brakeless manuals or nose manuals through it. Well, I got to tell you, everyone in practice has been saying Courage Adams has been absolutely on it. And if anything, his style of linking tricks together through nose manuals or rear wheel manuals just looks crazier, right? So that could maybe even stand out more, because we haven't seen many back wheel combos. Take a look at the tail whip right here. Boom!
Man.
So much pressure. I saw someone in the chat say, better check those crank arms, and I definitely have to agree with you.
I'm surprised the bike is in one piece after that drop.
Shout out to my man, Gabriel Chavez, saying, great to see Jose Sedano in the lead. That's another South American rider. I had a chance to hang with both of them down in Chile many years ago. I got the tour, and yes, Jose is in the top spot, but there's a chance that is going to get shaken up as we progress through the heats. There was that double peg to ice pick. I'm going to go out on a limb. I haven't rode that rail in full transparency, but I'm going to say it's harder to grind through it. And look at this, Santiago bumping up into that second spot.
Yeah, getting shaken up there, 72.37. Still sitting behind Jose Sedano, though. Alvaro Escobar, unfortunately, just missing out on the bubble there. Top 15 going through. He's in 16th. Chris Canucks with a 36.37 in 19th, and Stefan Atencio with a 34.75 in 20th. And that's where I say the leaderboard only tells one part of the story, because Chris coming out with one of the tricks of the weekend right there. We move into jam number 9, though. Speaking of Courage Adams, he's in like this British sandwich right here with Jordan Godwin, Joe Jarvis, and Stu Chisholm.
Wow, heavy hitters right here.
Huge jam.
Wow, jam number 9. Talk about some of the beasts out there. Jordan Godwin, Joe Jarvis, Courage Adams, Stu Chisholm. Those are definitely some big riders. I know everybody at the source, especially Tom Creasy, is watching, cheering on Stu Chisholm and saying, come on, let's bring back the finals to Hastings in England. They want to see it. You can see Courage Adams on course warming up. But we're going to get ready to watch Jordan Godwin ride. He has been on a tear lately. He's got that mustache that he's sporting, but we want to watch his foot placement of his pedals. I say that because Jordan is so technical, he will sometimes switch his feet, opening up different grinds. Now, if a rider does something with their foot in a different position, it can feel completely different. It's almost like signing your name with your opposite hand, right? Or throwing a ball. But we're going to see Jordan just how technical he is. So take an eye at the feet. Just keep note that his left foot is forward. Now his right foot is forward. So he's already started to switch that a few times already in just 10 seconds.
Yeah, 2023 third place for Jordan. And when he was out here filming the course preview with Boyd's the other day,
Look
he was saying he was feeling it.
Look at that, switching the feet up left and right, right and left, working the rails like a rhythm section. You mentioned that Nate designed this almost like a slope style course because the rails are so big in the street. And we're seeing Jordan right now work this thing. His speed and momentum is going in the streets.
Oh man. Going off the nose into the tooth hanger, down the big rail. That massive rail is no joke to just be throwing stuff like that.
Jordan now going to take the 10 seconds, go over to the street, over to the park, and what's it going to be? Toboggan, twisting the bars. Bumping around that ball corner, final thought. And that is time right there for Jordan.
Eddie in the live chat saying mustache looking solid, bruv. I think it looks great on him. I think it's a good move.
I got to agree with you. I know that Chad DeGroot and the Bago boys, who are the pioneers of mustaches in BMX, also agree. Shout out to Dave Frymuth. I know you're watching and loving a simple session. But the man who's known not only for his antics on the bike, also off the bike, one of the crowd favorites. I'm talking about Joe Jarvis. You know, in years past, whenever he'd get interviewed by our on-field MC, Thule, he'd always have some memorable quotes. My dad was watching back in the States. He said, I love that man, yeah. Joe Jarvis. He can party like no one else. And he can keep it together on the course. So let's see, double peg X-up grind down, 360 checking in with that front wheel bonk. Jarvis getting that front wheel boogie, getting that balance point around, catching the pedals. Oh, okay. Jarvis putting on a tech clinic right here.
Hopping over to double peg on that. That's crazy.
Smith going down. His opposite side. Tail whip coming out.
This is a huge run for Joe already. He's on, like, you can see it in his eyes.
Yes. Over double peg. And let's note, he's been sticking in the streets, and he's been putting so many tricks down in the street section of the course. And we saw that Jordan did that, but Jordan exited to the park. And right now, 3 to flat, Jarvis, big exclamation point, big run for the big man, Joe Jarvis.
Wow, what a run one. He was saying yesterday as well, he's like, do you know what? I just can't ride the boxes. He's like, I've tried so many times to hit big gaps, like big transition gaps and boxes and stuff. And he's like, it's just not for me. He's like, I just can't do it. So he's like, I'm going to stick to what I know best and what I do best. And that's the street section. And he has done that right there. So stoked for Joe. And obviously kind of just rooting for him because we want to see those interviews tomorrow more than anything, right? We want to see him chatting to Thule at the side of the course after his run. So we'll see if he makes the top 15. This is a stacked heat right now as we move to Courage Adams, a man who needs no introduction. First simple session back in 2016, almost 10 years ago, doing it for Red Bull Vans Flybikes.
Shout out to Evan Smedley and Diego Santos right now cheering on one of the best street riders out there. Has never been on top of the podium. He's always a favorite in the finals. Courage Adams, very uncharacteristic of him to slip his pedals, but he is back on it.
Man,
he is back on it. Manual into that bar spin with the ice pick. Oh!
And there we go. He was just throwing that in practice so casually, and I was like, "You enjoying the course?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, okay, cool.
Wow. So let's see right now, our street rippers in this heat are just putting on a clinic in this 60 seconds, trying to get as many tricks done. But we had Godwin exit the park, and right now we're gonna see how Courage does that as he goes into this park section as well. This is gonna be pretty make or break if a rider can make the use of that full 60 seconds.
Oh! That nose press, taking the 3 out into the landing. 3 seconds left, and he's gonna call it there. A solid run for Courage Adams. Didn't get worried about slipping the pedals at first.
Yeah, and he kept his cool, but this is the big thing. So if you're in the park, you're going fast, you can get a number of tricks in without that, in that allotted time. Well, if you go in the street section, it's a little harder because you're actually going slower. If you then transition out of street into park, there's some wasted time there. We saw that a little bit with Jordan. I'm not saying his run was wasted or anything like that, but if you're not stacking the tricks and putting them in for that full pull, but we saw Jarvis go somewhere in between where he hit the street and then flew out with that 360 to flat. So let's see Stu Chisholm, what his approach is gonna be as he jumps over and then flies up with the 360 bar spin.
Yeah, coming out of Hastings, home of the Source.
Bar spin with that ice pick, yes! Chisholm, a father, inspired by his BMX riding. I know right now everyone at home is cheering on Stu as he puts that big backflip along with the Source Park. I know right now we're all watching this live feed where Stu Chisholm wound up cutting his teeth, learning how to be so good at a BMX bike. Shout out to Matt Brown and the entire staff at the world's largest underground skate park in Hastings, the Source Park. Yes, 360 with that tail whip over the spine, flare, backflip 180. Come on, come on.
Yo!
Oh!
Wanted to get that extra 180 back in by the looks of things. Oh man, unfortunate for Stu to fall on that at the end. He's up though, he's good. And we'll see how he goes in run 2. Best mates with Joe Jarvis. It's so cool. Like you've got Joe, who's kind of the wild, crazy one, and then Stu's the more like sensible, kind of like reins Joe in, or tries to at least. It's a very funny dynamic. I really like hanging out with those guys. And Stu as well, last simple session, my baby was due, and Stu's such a proud dad. He was giving me all of this advice at one of the after parties, like, here's what you need to do, like when your baby's born and stuff. So yeah, amazing, man.
I love it. Well, I'm gonna give a shout out to your son, Oscar, who I know is watching back at home, hearing Dad's voice right now on the feed, and us talking about Jordan Godwin as he has a buttery smooth downside tail whip. Again, all eyes on his foot placement, left foot forward, right foot forward. It's all different and the same when you are Jordan Godwin. It allows him to open up different technical grinds. Gap to crooked coming down, putting one peg on either side. Look at that technical ability, checking in with the front peg, getting the double, and then the 180 out. Again, our 4 judges, lifetime riders and legends themselves, they have a much clearer vantage point than we do in the announcing booth. So rest assured, every and all trick, regardless of what we call or don't call, they are seeing, and we have 0 impact on them. Let's go, 360, dipping that nose in. Godwin coming back. Yes, tweaking the turn down and flying out. So what we're gonna have to do is keep note of how the judges give the scores and how that looks when a rider has 2 totally different runs. Because we saw Sam Cock, technically, I mean, unbelievable riding, right? But he was put in that 9th spot. And maybe he wasn't as rewarded because 2 of his runs were a little similar out there, right, as far as the approach. But let's see if a rider potentially takes 2 different approaches on the course, how that's gonna look and what that's gonna happen. So Going to be interesting. Joe Jarvis's riding was really unique. Does he do the same or a different approach?
Yeah, this is it. We're going to have to see if he switches it up here. Yeah, and he kind of is, by the looks of things, starting off with double peg up.
Oh, okay.
X-up grind down.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Kowalski, a.k.a. The Butcher. ECD will never die. Talking about the East Coast legend, one of the first to ever do an X-up grind down a rail.
Interesting as well for Joe, kind of definitely not quite as structured as his first run, but he's switching it up and heading over for the transition. So there we go, getting that 3. This is where he was saying, man, I'm just not comfortable in this area, but he's getting it done with the 180 bar to fakie over the spine. So fair play, Joe. He was like, oh, this is not where I'm comfortable, and he's in there. He's getting it done. I think he's got all the street tricks maybe that he wanted to get done sorted in run number 1, so he's switching it up. There we go. Oh. Just coming off right on the buzzer. And we will see what that does. Definitely run number 1, the better of the 2, but it's an overall impression, you know? So if you actually look at the variety of tricks that he's done between the 2 runs, he could be sat with a great score there. Looking to improve on a 45.50 of Saul Villar of Spain, who is currently sat in 15th place. That is the bubble right now. Top 15 progressing to the finals tomorrow. Encourage Adams, hoping he can be comfortably in there. Oh! That same again. Like you say, very uncharacteristic to even fall on that once, let alone twice.
Yeah, wow. I don't know if I've ever seen him take a crash like that before. So let's see. Everyone put your positive energy out there. We would love to see Courage be one of the 15 in the finals. I know he would like to be on top of that podium, but he does not seem phased at all. That bar spin to ice pick is massive. Popping that flare, landing a little bit back wheel heavy. Whoa! Come on, Courage, you still got some time. It looks like his earbud went flying out. You got 25 seconds. Come on, Courage.
Yeah, you gotta get back in there and hustle.
Come on. Looks like his earbud fell out again. He's got 15 seconds. You already had some solid tricks even with the crash. Let's see if he can pull something out. Look at the nose manual. Look at the nose manual, James. Oh! Oh, man.
That was a heavy fall for Courage right there. So yeah, camera's gonna go away. We're gonna see how he's doing. You can see the medics have come straight in there. Oh man. That looked like the kind of trick as well to almost save the run a little bit, where things had maybe gotten away from him. Oh, just like missing the bar, catching the bars coming in. We hope he's okay. Hope maybe just a bit winded.
Let's all collectively put our positive energy out there. We have some of the best medics in all of action sports out here. We're going to give them some time. James, I know we never speculate. Time and time again, though, we've seen riders a lot of times. They're winded. It's the end of 60 seconds. They just have to collect their bearings, or maybe they knock the wind out of themselves, and they're able to get it together and get back up on their own. We're going to hope that's what's going on right here, but right now we know Courage is a beast. You don't become one of the best riders in the world without taking some slams sometimes, so let's put our energy out there and hope that the best for Courage.
Yeah, thanks for the love on the chat as well. Sending good energy. You can see the medic team are just straight in there. So he's getting the best care right now, being looked after.
I got to give him props. He was so committed on that bar spin. Right, when you guys are nose manualing like that, you're pressed over the bars, you're super focused, and that's basically coming off a vert ramp back in. And it's hard too because you're turning in, right? You're not having a clean re-entry because it's like a quarter pipe where you have to turn in. And you saw he tossed the bars and he was so committed over and just came down really hard on that shoulder. And just give you guys a little perspective, our announcing booth is just off the side of the course, and we could actually feel and hear that when he hit the course. So definitely took a hard slam.
And that quarter as well, with that kind of extended corner there, it's got to be in the region of about 11 foot, 12 foot.
Yeah, almost, what, 3 meters? Is that what that would be?
Yeah. I think it's so easy at home. When I was first watching Simple Session, I was like, man, that course looked fast, it looks fun, but then didn't realize until I got to Simple Session, I was like, oh no, everything here is huge, and it just looks like it's normal size because everything's huge. The obstacles, like, there's kind of no 4-foot quarters here or anything, you know, it's massive.
Oh.
So Courage getting up, that's what we like to see. But maybe going to need some treatment on his arm. So
at home, put your hands together. We want to hear you clapping at home.
Love for Courage. I was worried seeing him go down on the arm as well. Hopefully, just winded. There's a lot of impact to take.
Courage puts a lot of work into his physio and training. I mean, look how big he is. He's got a lot of muscle stacked on there. So hopefully that will help protect some of his vital organs.
Yeah, right.
I know, look, sometimes riders, we're not as into physical fitness, this, that, or the other, but if you're out there and you do the push-ups and sit-ups, sometimes that can really help prevent maybe a bar end or something going in, or if you take a big hit. So hopefully that will help Courage and he'll be okay. Well, we're keeping the party rolling right now, and we've got one more rider, heat number 9. You see him getting into position, getting ready after that, and trying to keep things rolling. This is the UK's Stu Chisholm.
So Stu having to shake, seeing Courage go down there and get his focus back.
Ooh,
and does so.
Icy, I like that style. A little bit of a rodeo cowboy toboggan right there.
Yeah, nice.
Yo, okay, Chisholm right now. I like the way that he's putting these tricks down where he's just giving a little bit of his own flavor. Ooh, that's a great perspective, just see how gnarly that little transfer is, right? And I use the word little only because of the distance, but that is no joke. You are landing really potentially low. Nice behind the back seat grab, getting some style. Chisholm, 22 seconds to work, digging that fast plant.
Yeah, Stu really managing to link it together, looking stronger than run number 1 right now, so that'll be good. Yeah, the 3-whip over the spine, into the flare. Keep it going for the final few seconds if you can, Stu. One more trick to get in if he can. Does he want this?
Ooh,
Okay, so going down on the final trick, but really strong moments in there for Stu. A great second run.
All right, the chat right now. What up, Kareem Williams? Enter in the chat. You know that this thing is about to get lit, just like our next few jams. We just wrapped up jam number 9. We're gonna watch some highlights as we still have 4 jams yet to go. Taking a look at Jordan Godwin over, grabbing that crank arm right there. Take a look, left foot forward, nollie press, and he's got that tooth hanger on the way down. Godwin over that box, proper toboggan, twisting the bars a little bit past 90. There we go. Godwin put on a clinic as far as tech street goes. Big gap to crook coming down. And I was very impressed with this man right here on his first run, Joe Jarvis. Always a favorite. We've seen him here out at Simple Sessions of years past. He's been partying in hot tubs. Right? We were at Freedom Square. He got in a hockey fight last night.
Oh, yeah, I was in goal for that as well, man. So, and do you know what? Him and Stu are actually incredible at hockey. I was like, bro, how are you so good? I was covering all bases for the goal. So he chipped the puck over me. I'm like, I didn't know you had skills like that.
Well, I got to give you some credit. You don't even ice skate.
No, I can't ice skate.
And that's why they put you in goal.
That's why I chose to be in goal, because I was like, I don't need to move. But yeah, then I had those guys just coming at me, and I was like, I made a big mistake being here.
Well, for all of you at home if you haven't been following our social media, just do it. It's at Simple Session. A whole lot goes on behind the scenes in other events, and there was skate versus BMX hockey in the town square on ice out here. And I'm proud to say I wasn't out on the course, but BMX was well represented. BMX took top honors. And I know that, James, you were out there for the skaters.
Yeah. We sadly lost, but we'll keep that quiet. We'll keep that quiet. Whilst you're at it as well, checking out stuff on Simple Session socials. If you are, getting involved in the chat right now and you aren't already subscribed to the Simple Session YouTube, please do so you can keep tabs on everything and get notified. But we have some shake-ups on that leaderboard. 6th place, Jordan Godwin with a 65. 7th place, Stu Chisholm with a 64.75. He is going to be absolutely stoked with that. And then in 11th, Joe Jarvis with the 61.5.
Wow, got to give it up to everyone in the chat watching. A lot of people from the old school BMX board in here. I'm talking to you, Bitter Seth. DBZ, rest in peace as we get ready for our next jam. Look at the riders left to right.
Yeah, we've got Jordan Clark alongside Sasha Cambon, Rumet Salik, and Ash Finley. It's gonna be big.
Yeah, we're gonna see some different styles out on the course right now as we work through. If you are just joining us, this is Jam 10 of 13. A little over 50 riders out here. Top 15 are gonna go to the final. So it doesn't matter if you were in the first jam or you're just joining us now and only seeing jam number 10. All the riders are competing against each other. They're getting a score 0 to 100, and it's both scores are gonna count. Their highest average score, of those scores, added up together, that's going to be the top 15 moving on to the final.
And the exciting thing is, after Jam 10, we can actually start to look at who's safe and going to be definitely in tomorrow's finals. Our first rider, though, Jordan Clark, coming out of Chichester, an incredible scooter rider who has moved to bike and just showing how well he's transferred those skills, opening up with that 7 and just linking the lines.
Wow, that ollie flare right there was one of the biggest we've seen of the contest. Holy smokes, that's what you're talking about. Some of those scooter tricks right there. In the chat, I want you guys to tell me what you would even call that wild move. So let's see, we got that flip with the 180 and that tail whip. Let's see, front flip coming up. So we're seeing some unique style right here.
Hitting the course with so much speed right here. There's the 3 of that driveway section. Yeah, the 5 on the quarter as well.
So Jordan Clark, I'm gonna say even more so than unique style, I'm gonna just say a unique trick selection, right? So we saw it like in different parts of that course. That ollie flare was enormous with the transfer and then the 540 flare. So the difference right there is he did the 540 as opposed to a backflip with a 180 coming in, hitting the big things right there. Nicholas Varney saying brief flip is what we saw as far as that trick goes, originally done on a scooter, and we're seeing it done on the BMX. I say, hey man, if you're having fun on 2 wheels or even doing anything in this world, take it. There's so much challenging negativity and hard things out there. If you find something that makes you happy, run wild with it, man. Have a good time, put a smile on your face. And right there, Jordan Clark hopefully did so with our judges getting a high score.
Yeah, now we've got the 16-year-old from France, Sasha Cambon, getting some love in the chat. He's got people supporting back home, bringing the speed up to that pocket, airing through as we head back to the box. Yeah, with the 360 bar to table.
Buttery combination right there. The French rider. Yes, I love that right there, floating that bar spin. Believe it or not, he's one of the first riders we saw jump up onto the stage and go left. You'd figure that would be a little more of a common line, linking things together. I know it wasn't a big transfer by any means, but it's worth noting. We haven't seen anyone else go that way. Bunny hop bar spin over. Let's see where he's gonna go. Quick ice pick. Pressing that front wheel. Oh, okay. Pressing that front wheel in, dropping down. I mentioned John Engelbert, AKA Lucky, earlier. So we got into that Lucky stall and then 270 back in. I'm loving it 2025. Get the opportunity to shout out 2 East Coast legends. We talked about them earlier, Butcher, Joe Kowalski, and John Engelbert. That's the coolest thing about BMX. You have so many guys who had a unique vision on the bike and they got to put their own mark on the sport. As mentioned earlier as well, Jim Selinsky. What up, Jim, in the chat? That's right, you guys. There's so many legends in here watching. Jim Selinsky redefined what was possible for grinding different ways on your bike on a rail. And right now the stage is set.
Oh my word. Would you say that's a flat or flip in? It's kind of sideways.
Tomato, tomato. I think it's crazy either way.
Yeah, right. Rumet Salik from Estonia.
So he is up for that potential Best Estonian Rider Award. Let's see. He had a very good start to his run. Keep this going.
Transferring up to come back in. Going off that Dorito wedge, almost like back on himself.
We'll give a shout out to the late, great Dave Mira. First rider with that backflip drop in.
transfer off the spine, over that gap, yeah. Really linking it up. 15 seconds left for Rumet. What are we gonna see? Oh, there's the flare with the bar as well. Wow, what a run number 1. And the crowd absolutely loving that. They know he's their guy. Showing the local rider the love that he deserves. What a run number 1, holding his own out there. Literally coming out of Tallinn. And also, like Jordan Clark, a world-class scooter rider as well, who switched to BMX. Those transferable skills, man. So we move to our final rider, another Brit. Part of the British cycling team is Ash Finley dropping in.
All right, the big man, Ash, on course. I had a chance to watch him a little bit in practice, and he is fired up to charge. 31 years young, what's it gonna be? Look at the height!
Oh.
Yes! Into the backflip tail whip, trying to hit the rafters here at the Unibet Arena. Can step through, trying to work this thing out. Yo, double time on that tail whip. Kicking it 2 times over that hip, cutting that corner. Ash is such a beast. I'll tell you, he's the type of guy that if you ever go to the after party and run into any trouble, you want him. You want him in your corner. I'll just put it lightly that way. But he has so much love for BMX. Look at the front flip going up. Oh!
Just not quite getting it all the way around. 5 seconds still to squeeze something in if he can. Do you know what? I'm still trying to get over the height of that flare on the big Red Bull bank. That was insane.
Yeah, and the wild thing was how he just rode that up. He almost took an extra second, right, riding up that transition to then hit that pop. We saw a couple guys go a little bit lower in the bottom transition, but that's not a traditional quarter pipe. It's a bank to wedge, right? So it's a little bit of an elliptical transition. All right, we're going back to the top of jam number 10, Jordan Clark. Oh, 720 with the bar spin. Kicking that air to the left right there. Downside whip, 360 double bar box backwards. No pedals, big Superman seat grab, grabbing that seat, putting that bike out.
Flare with the whip, coming through, up to there, there's the front flip, gets that done for a second time. Just feels so dialed in, just feels so locked. There's the 3 back through, into the 5, yeah, we saw that little combo in the last run. Barring back into the bubble to bring him back into the park section of the course. And then where's he going up here?
Ooh.
Oh, tasty, the 540 flare. What a run. The only thing I will say for Jordan is similar to the first run, but incredible. So we're gonna see what the judges make of that. We've seen that they've rewarded people who have mixed it up a little bit, but I don't see how you can mark that down at that standard as well. So yeah, we're interested to see here in the booth what score that gets. Sasha Cambon coming back in. Won best trick on Thursday. At the we had like a little jam with an obstacle, a rideable obstacle that is being moved to Freedom Square in Tallinn for all of the public, anyone to be able to ride. But yeah, all of the best riders at Simple Session were on that, and he won that jam, and now he's out here in the park.
Yeah, another BMX ripper, Johnny Rakes cheering on, saying, let's go, Sasha. I've got to agree with you. And right now, Sasha turning it up with the double bar spin on that alley-oop, and then popping the flip over the hip right there. A little bit of that barrel roll action. Transferring down. Double tail whip coming up. Okay. Turning things up with the tail whip this time over the rail. I believe that's the first rider we've seen do that so far.
Yeah, I think it's that little kicker. Oh, going for the fakey flip as well, my word. Yeah, we need to see that. We need to see that. Yeah, I think it's that little kicker before the rail, actually. Stu Chisholm was saying, actually, he wasn't so into the kicker, but it is enabling people to do things like the whip over into the bank below. See this? Yeah, the fakey front flip gets that done. Oh man, to be able to do that on demand like that, it must feel so wrong to do that trick. You're kind of pulling in all the wrong directions. Wow, so clean, so clean. Wow, just 16 years old. What a rider. What a rider. Boyd coming over to show him some love as well, giving him some props.
So Boyd Hilder is actually a two-time Simple Session champion.
Yeah.
He is yet to ride. I know all of our BMX lifers out there know Boyd Hilder and what he's all about, but we got some new fans to BMX. So he's going to be looking to get into that finals because 15 riders will be taking that spot. Rumet is on course right now. The Estonian rider letting it rip and pulling it back with some pretty big hits. Oh, come on. Something about it when Estonian rider's on the course, the crowd cheers a little bit louder, showing the love for their own.
Yeah, you just feel that energy lift in the arena, and that's got to help him as well. It's got to spur him on, taking that whip transfer off the spine.
And again, that's the coolest part about Simple Session. It's a big international contest, but our event organizers, Risto Kalamre and his brother Mario, always want it to be where we have this platform for local riders. We have a platform for the community, the town, the city. That's why when you guys have probably seen all over social media the last few days, we did a best trick contest. There was a unique obstacle that was made. That's actually going to be in the city center. Yeah. It's going to be in Freedom Square, and you can come here next year, because you already booked it, I was talking about it. You'll be here for 26. You'll bring your bike, and you're going to ride that obstacle. It's a bell that was here with the transition on all four sides that you're going to see in the city center. All right, Ash Finlay. The big man needs business right now. Dropping in. 360.
Yeah, you mentioned that best trick jam as well. Ash, actually, it's kind of like, it was this like bell kind of obstacle. Ash just flip whipped it. So yeah, and then coming out and showing what he can do, the height over that box, the flip double whip as well. Oh man, just so much aggression. He uses, you can see he's a muscly dude, and he uses all of that power to keep the speed going around this course.
Yeah, backflip double tail whip means business. There's a double whip into that pocket, trying to keep his momentum rolling. 360 going up. Come on, Ash. Doing that flare backflip 180 on the top stage, looking to come down. Oh!
Again, just under rotates the front flip. That's such a shame. Really hoping to see him get it done this time around, but hustling to get back in to get something more. Yeah, flip the spine. Nice, good work. And then little foot jam up on the quarter two. So yeah, you can see he's frustrated not to get that front flip. Do you know what? I don't think that's going to hurt him too much. He got a lot in there. And that rounds out jam number 10. So if you haven't already, please do make sure that you give the stream a little thumbs up. Helps the algorithm, helps it be shown to more people. 437 of you already done that, but if you haven't done it yet, please do give a little thumbs up, and also hit that bell and subscribe to Simple Session. You will get all the notifications for tomorrow. Keep in the loop, and for all future Simple Sessions and all the content that comes out after Simple Session 2, because there'll be things being posted from around the week. You want to make sure you're on top of that, right? So yeah, hit that subscribe as we check out some of the highlights of jam number 10, Daryl.
And while we do that, I want to give a shout out. We've got some Simple Session royalty in the chat. I'm talking about Reed Stark. You know him as the Long Boy, one of my favorites. He's made no stranger to finals at all here in Simple Session. He actually got third in 2021, and he got second in 2017. Reed, we all love you out here. You're one of the favorites. We love that you're watching, cheering on the riders. So cool that we have the World BMX fam out here. We get a chance to chat, see what's going on as we watch some of these many highlights of our riders ripping. I know that there's all different styles out here at Simple Session. That's what makes it cool and unique. This might not be, some rider might not be your cup of tea per se, but that's what makes BMX freestyle cool. I know some riders have their own unique style, but if everyone rode that way, then it wouldn't be so unique, right? So that's what's really cool, and whatever floats someone's boat on the bike, that's great. You can cheer them on, and then you can make it your own. And that's usually when we have a unique voice in BMX, and when someone really breaks through and sees their own voice. But take a look right here. Ash kicking that tail whip around 2 times. I believe that was in his opposite direction right there. You saw the way that he kicked it with his right foot, and on that back flip, he kicked it with his right foot on the back flip double whip, and the other one was an opposite double tail whip. A lot going on out of Ash. Just know he can kick them both ways double time. You saw one with the flip, one without. 4 legends of BMX right now, their head is smoking as they are trying to figure out. That's Dave Cleworth, Marcus Vilke looking at his phone, trying to figure out the scores. Van Homan, the legend, and then another legend on the far side of the course, Bart de Jong. And you might see that man in the white t-shirt with the microphone. That is Andy the Z-Man Zeiss. He is our on-course MC. I had the opportunity to be on the microphone with Andy many years here at Simple Session. And look at this!
Oh, come on. We have a new leader, Jordan Clark, by a long way as well. 11.25 points. He is clear of Jose Sedano. That is a big move for Jordan Clark. Rumet Salik as well, sneaking into that top 15. He's in 12th with a 62.25. Semcock moves to the bubble in 15th place. Ash Finley in 20th with a 56.00, and Sasha Cambon with a 54.00. Do you know what, Daryl? I was saying, I wonder if him doing similar runs 2 times around is going to hurt him, but the standard that he rode at, man, undeniable.
Yeah, I think that alley-oop 540, that alley-oop flare that he had right out of the gate really helped put his score. But take a look at our next 4 riders.
Oh man, K-Rob Jr. I know there's a lot of fans for K-Rob, so yeah, he's going to be hitting the course first for jam number 11. We've got Jude Jones in there too, Dylan Hesse and Shoa Matsumoto rounding things out. The 15-year-old doing it for Monster out here in jam number 11. It is heating up, Daryl.
Wow, very excited to see this East Coast rider from the Northeast, Kevin Robinson Jr. His dad is the legendary BMX rider, K-Rob. And right now, I know he's looking down, cheering on his son, Junior, on the course right now. First time we're seeing him here at Simple Session. Of course, clock has started. Big air. Look at that 1-foot tabletop.
Damn, taking that more to flat than he was hoping. And that's what we mean when we talk about how steep that is as well. Like, it only takes a little bit to be pulling out further than you anticipated on that. Making it happen, though, keeping it going.
BMX is in his blood. He is grown up with 2 wheels. And it looks like that first run, he's going to wind up waving off. But you see, actually, Boyd Hilder up there saying, get back in there. Boyd's got a little more experience. As we mentioned, he's won this thing a few times, and he's saying, get in there. Make the most of your time, right? But it's intimidating if you've never ridden this before. There's a lot going on. And also, like, you can see if your head's not in the right space, as much as you want to go, hey, I want to ride, I want to make it go. Sometimes when you try to force it, the results aren't in your favor, right? You could sometimes crash or something happen, so he's going to have another opportunity in run number 2.
Yeah, worth mentioning as well as we head into the final 3 jams. We've obviously got 12 riders left, so that does mean that Jordan Clark, Jose Sedano, and Santiago Laverde are confirmed for tomorrow's finals.
All right, Jude Jones is on course. Yes, 720, twisting that look back on the second rotation. I had a chance to meet Jude Jones's family, and they are watching right now on the feed. What up, Roxy? I know that they are going crazy as they watch Jude Jones try to be one of the 15 riders in the finals. Jude dropping out of that street section, 360 over the island. I want to note that he was able to generate enough speed to clear that coming in from that quarter pipe. Hard thing to do. Yes, 360 bar spin to downside tail whip, it looked like. Come on, Jude.
Yeah, the little alley 270 over the hip as he works his way back over the box. Oh, huge from Jude Jones. 5 seconds on the clock, double whip over the spine. and Lil T-Bog to finish things off.
Shout out to Chris Childs and Circuit BMX. What's up, Vic and Kara? They are watching all of our riders of this heat. They want to see K-Rob Jr. take his second run. But right now, it's all about the UK's Dylan Hesse.
Yeah, picked up by Monster last year. Was 7th overall in the UCI World Cup rankings. No stranger to a good contest result, so hoping he can make it into the top 15.
Oof.
Flip double bar.
Oh, a lot of height right there. Landed nice and smooth on that re-entry. Double time with the bars on that 360, James. Coming in, 720 bar spin, completely tweaked to the side. Trying to get shot out of that berm into the bubble with the X up.
So stylish, great shape on that. Oh, triple bar.
Hot hands.
Speed on that.
The Hyper Rider looking for it. Flare with the bar spin, 22 seconds to go. Whoa, backflip bar spin over the island. Not many riders have done that trick selection on that obstacle. Whoa, 540 with the flare, keeping it rubber side down. The tires are going. 6 seconds, working it out. And that is gonna be time right there for Dylan Hesse.
Yeah, full pull for Dylan. That went to plan, seems happy. All calm and under control for run number 2. If you are just joining us, both of the runs count. This is not best run count. Really important point. The judges are counting both. So you could have an absolutely fire first run, but then let yourself down in a second, and it will hurt you. It will hurt you. It is tomorrow for the finals, when the top 15 go through, that we then go to best run counts, and you can drop a run if you so need. Showa Matsumoto, though, ready to come in for his first run at Simple Session. 15 years old.
Yeah, look at that height over the box backwards. You can tell we're in for a show already. The way that he just boosts the height on that backflip with the bars. There's a chance that might have been 2. What did you guys see in the chat? Coming back at us. I love the bike control, can over. When he jumped that box jump backwards, and you can see the same thing with that tire grab, he's got that confidence where he can just pull up a little bit higher than we've seen other riders, where he's able to then spot that re-entry nice and clean and get that pump. The young gun, 15 years old, tucking the no-hander.
Yeah, heading the wrong way over the box, building that speed.
Here we go, pulling back the hammer. Oh, clean 720. Drifting a little bit from right to left. Going up that roller. 360 with the bar spin, and that is going to be time for Showa Matsumoto.
Yeah, great first run for him. It's starting to get difficult for the judges, I'd say, because they're gonna have to make some really tough calls soon as to where riders are going to slot in, and there's going to be some upsets, I think, of names getting bumped out. There just aren't enough spaces in the final for everyone that you would expect to be a finalist out here at Simple Session.
So we're going back to the top, and you know, I didn't have a chance to talk to K-Rob Jr. before the event, but I heard that he was a little bit under the weather and actually wasn't going to ride, and he got added to our sheets just a moment before. So he's he's having fun out there. He's got the big smile on his face, but I don't think he's riding with 100% feeling good under his belt. But I know that Chris Childs said, take it to flat, K-Rob Jr. He wants to see him send it. And if you haven't had a chance to see him ride in person, unbelievable. It's the future of BMX right now in real time. There's a double backflip he did at a concrete skate park that had the whole internet going completely wild. He's a committed rider, he's a beast, and right now we're seeing him lay over a beautiful, juicy, one-footed tabletop. So it looks like he's gonna jump up. All right, he's gonna wind up waving it off. I'm also gonna take this opportunity to give a little shout out to Jeremy Mallet. He was supposed to be riding as well, but he's a little under the weather and he was feeling sick. So at last moment on our sheets, those names wound up switching it up. But I love seeing K-Rob Jr. out there. And we're gonna be cheering him on. That he's gonna be here at Simple Session 26. We wanna see that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So Jude Jones coming back in. out of Market Harborough in the UK. Had a good first run. Hoping to replicate in run number 2 as he rolls into the quarter. Opening straight up with the 7. Yes, nice, Jude. Oh, and the front flip no-hander up into the street section. He is turning it up for run number 2 and switching up his run, Daryl, which the judges are going to love to see. Coming back in for the volcano. Yeah, there's the 360 bar over, hanging up a little, which is taking some speed out of him. Can he build it back up to then head back towards the box, landing a little bit lower? Yeah, which then you see led him to land a little higher up on the box. GPT log over the bubble, bar spin. Trying to link it up for the final 15 seconds. Yes, Jude, getting it done once again. 5 seconds to go. Double whip over the spine. And what's he going to get done there? Yeah, nice. Good second run for Jude. Seems happy with that. And we saw him kind of step it up into the second run as well. So, yeah, props to Jude. And we hand to Dylan Hesse. Coming off a really strong first run also. I feel like I could probably say that for the remaining riders that we've got today. I don't expect any runs to be dropped from here on.
So right now, Dylan Hesse on course. Oh, I believe that might have been 3 times with the bars. Hot hands around. Hesse tossing them. Coming back at us. I know a lot of you in the chat are talking about this split format, having park and street on the same course. I just want to highlight that the judges did say if a rider is a street rider, if they focus more on the street where they're at, they're going to try to weigh it out and give them a, I don't want to say preferential treatment or a higher score, but they just know that they're 2 different things, and you might fit more tricks in on a quarter pipe, keeping your speed throughout the course, and they know when you grind a rail, it could potentially be slower. But we did see someone like Jordan Godwin who put trick after trick after trick, but in the last 20 seconds, he went to the park. Bam! Hesse right there, getting that 540 flare coming around nice and clean. So it's really going to be up to the judges how they see, and also how the rider interpreted the judge's voice when they were out there. But Dylan Hesse right there, interpreting those 60 seconds very well, with a big, big bag of tricks.
Yeah, a strong showing for Dylan. He should be absolutely buzzing with that. He still looks very kind of business mode, very game face, but I can imagine inside he's buzzing, and keeping fingers crossed that's going to put him inside the top 15. He's done everything he can. And our final rider of jam number 11 to drop from Japan. 15 years old, Showa Matsumoto. Brought so much speed to the park, which allows him to air like that.
Oh, I got to give props. That backflip he held for an extra moment before throwing those bars 2 times around. What up, Biz Brian Jordan in the chat? Yes, that is true. You still need to get that New York tattoo. Indeed, he lost a bet, but we do have some bets going on in the chat. If a rider out there does an Abubaca, someone's got $10 that they're going to wind up wiring to you. But right now, it's all about Showa with that tuck no-hander over the hip. Let's see where he's going to go around the corner, rebuilding his momentum, finding that pocket. I love the way he's getting that little boost. I'm going to give a shout out to Clint Reynolds and the Credence boys. It's almost like when you see them ride dirt, they get that nice pull, and that last second they nose it in, and we're seeing Showa do that on a park course, which you don't see too often, especially some of the younger riders. But you could even just tell how Showa did that bar spin to slide her back down. He's got a lot of abilities, and I don't even think that we saw half of what he's capable on this run.
Yeah, 15 years old and just riding in such an established way, just attacking the course, so comfortable, no nerves out there, like, okay, I'm one of the younger guys. Now he's like, I'm riding with the best, and I deserve to be here, and showing why. Love that 1 foot table, Such great style on that.
Well, I'm just getting this in the chat, James. I'm going to put this out there to you as well. What's up, Iga? And he says if no rider does the Abuba Cup, we get out there, maybe film the clip, we still get a chance at that $10.
I am happy to film. I am happy to film you doing that.
We got another legend, Owen Clegg. What is up? He said, hey, let's utilize this Nate Wessel design course and get a big Morgan Wade-esque gap out there. I want to give a shout out to Chode Ryder. That is right. You had one of the best quotes that I've seen. He said, if you need slow-mo to see how many, it is too many. Now that is not taken away from any of the riders out there. That is just to highlight how many different styles of riders we have watching this event. There's always respect for other riders and what you do, but at the same time, you want to have different opinions, different voices. You want people to get excited about things, right? So when we hear things in the chat, it's not people talking ish left and right. It's like, hey, you want to have some dialogue going, because the worst thing that can happen is no one says anything. No one cares that it's going on. But the fact that we've got the World BMX family cheering in and chiming in, I love seeing it.
Yeah, right. And it's cool to see as well. I mean, there's people saying now they don't like the mixed park vibe so much. They do like it when it's more focused. I personally quite like that you're going to see the different styles side by side, but I get it does make judging harder. So yeah, great to hear your kind of opinions and views. But obviously the mixed park setup is what we've got this year.
It looks like that 10 is now gone up to 20 if I do the Abuba Cup. What's up, Evan? Evan says he's got 10 on it as well.
Here we go.
Yeah, this right here could be the retirement plan if we build this up more and more and more. But I got to give a shout out to all of our riders. But I do want to stress, regardless of the street aspect, the judges are trying to really weigh that in.
Yeah.
But we really haven't seen a rider focus just on the street section for the entire 60 seconds. As we said, I used Jordan as an example. He did go back into that park section, and there was maybe like a 15 or 20 second lag as you transfer from one side to the other. I get it, the ramps are big. It's also hard to get the crowd support on maybe a technical street gap as opposed to pulling a 1080 multiple bar spin tail whip crazy thing over the box. But these judges, they're lifetime riders. I know sometimes judges, you get some heat and pressure on them, but I'm telling you, I've been honored to be on the mic at hundreds of contests. I've never seen one contest where the judges haven't put their best effort forward to do the best score. And look at that, we have it shaken up right there. Dylan Hesse moving into that second spot with the 77.50.
Yeah, wow, we are starting to shake things up as we move into our final few runs. Showa Matsumoto as well making the top 15 in 12 with a 63.95. So he's going to be watching tentatively. Yeah, getting a bit clammy, I'm sure, as he watches those final riders come through as Duke Jones puts himself into 17th. I also want to send a shout out to Jamie Bestwick in the chat right now. We have so many legends and so many great riders that are in the chat. So yeah, thanks for joining us and being part of the community, tuning in for Simple Session this year.
I know Jamie is wanting to see a candy bar out of one of these next four riders. Jack Clark, Ernest C. Bolts, Jacob Thiam, and Ari Levinson are going to be our next four riders. Look for four distinctive flavors and styles out on the park right now, because I love to see variety. This is going to be a great heat where we have Ernest Z. Bolts, who is an Olympian. We have Levinson, who is an up-and-coming ripper from the Fit SM family. And we also have one of the biggest badasses who definitely lets his voice known and is not afraid to flip a bird to the judges, talking about Jack Clark. And you can't leave Jacob out of the conversation. He's definitely a new voice on the scene when it comes to the international competition. And we love having him here. So Jack Clark is getting into position, but as I was saying with the judges, they really try their best and they work so hard at it. In any contest, whenever there was like maybe, hey, we didn't know why we got this, they can break it down and give you that explanation. There's stuff that we can't even see from here in the booth. Maybe someone boosted a little higher, slipped a pedal, or something happened. So right now we get Jack Clark dropping in. Oh, that is how you do it. Reppin' Tall Order BMX. What up, Sebastian Keep? Yes, floating that downside 360 whip, almost that decade air. 15 seconds in, and Jamie, we did not see a candy bar yet, but he's still got 40 seconds to work with. Coming back at us, tail whip over that hip. Nick, Bruce, we love you too. Everyone here in Estonia, anytime that you are riding on the course, the place goes absolutely nuts, and we want to see you at 26th Simple Session. So get ready to book your ticket now in March of 2026. But Jack Clark right now, 14 seconds. Come on, JC. Yeah, quick toothpick hangover. Clark's got the ability to not only throw the bar spins like a wild one, but he also has the crazy rotational spins. And that is going to be time right there for Jack Clark.
Really enjoyed that fast-paced kind of street section, the line he threw together at the end there with the 360 bar back in. Jack, a versatile rider. It's kind of helping the next generation come through, coaching some of the Chinese athletes. And we move now to Ernest Siebold from Latvia.
And how cool is it to say an Olympian?
Yeah.
He was at the Paris 2024 Games representing Latvia. And Ernest Siebold is such a unique rider. He's got the street ability, but he can also turn it up in the park when need be. If anyone out there watching hasn't had a chance to see Siebold's ride, you're in for a treat. 360 with that bar spin, tuck, no-hander. Yeah, laying that tabletop over, coming back over the box, 360 double tail whip. It's interesting, we've seen Siebold's riding kind of evolve a little bit over time. I used to think of him a little bit more as a street rider, and we've seen in the last few years him spend a little more time in the park, but let's see how he switches things up on this course. He might be one of the first riders we see kind of crack the code utilizing both parts of it. Nice twist in that X up to turn down. I know we mentioned Jamie Bestwick, but that's a time to actually say, what's up, Jamie? Because you had some of the best combos in the game with X-ups and turn downs on big quarters. Showing that bottom bracket off to Andy Zeiss, our in-field announcer. Siebold has 10 seconds to go. I'm hoping he gets technical in this last time, maybe on the island. 360. Let's see if he gets tech. And that is going to be time. All right, Siebold. So Ernest, like I was saying, when Jeremy said, let's see if he gets technical, he's known to really do these wild balance moves on his front and back wheel. He's also got some of the biggest 180s out there. And that's what I was saying. He seemed a little bit more like a street rider back in the day, and he's kind of evolved his riding on the ramps a little more. So we didn't really see that street style, but maybe his second run, he's just going to blow the door down and say, hey, here are two different styles. Take it in, judges. What do you think of that, Holman?
And that would be incredible to see, right? And that would maybe be the approach they would quite like, to bring something totally different. But we see Jacob Thiem coming in right now. Yeah, the bar to foot jam after the whip in, and then hopping in for the transition section. Yeah, over the box, into that bowl corner and up over the bubble with that tuck no-hander, linking into the street. On the web reporter with the 360 over the pyramid rail.
Going a flat right there, I love it.
Yeah, getting a little loose coming off that as well.
Nice hand plant. I know Joel Barnett's a fan of that hand plant. What's up, Joel? Seeing those tail whips go around right there, that might have been an opposite. Again, if we don't see something in the booth, it is all good because our four judges have their eyes peeled. They are taking it all in. Nose press coming up, exit stage left, dropping in. Tweaking that turn down over the hip, can't step through. Smooth 360 and a 3 fakie, boom. That is how you do it.
Nice first run for Jacob Thiem out of Nebraska, doing it for Huffy. Linking it together, showing how you can ride both sections of the course.
All right, our fourth rider of jam number 12. I know everyone back in Portland, Oregon, and also at the S&M building right now is super psyched for our next rider, R.E.A. Levinson. Second time here at Simple Session. One of the most exciting riders out on the scene right now, doing things his own way. That was a bar spin to one-hand X-up stovepipe style. Shout out to Bruce Chrisman, who used to do the one-hand X-ups in that direction. It's when you wrap the bar out on the outside. I know also Stuart Johnson, who works on a lot of S&M projects with him, is watching as well. But right now, REA looking to make it happen with 34 seconds. He would love to be in the finals. Yeah. and having a blast out here in Estonia, riding street every single opportunity he has between practices. If you're not following him on social media, you can. It's at Ripe Life with an underscore in between. Spent a lot of time riding with Chad Johnson out at Goods. And the future of BMX is bright right there with Levinson, 18 years old. Loving what we're seeing out there, trying to get it done in that 60 seconds.
Yeah, young guy with just so much attention right now, and great to have him back at Simple Session for the second time he's been out here. But yeah, we don't check scores after run one. It's an overall impression across the 2 runs, so we keep it going. It's more like an organized jam format, and Jack Clark is coming back in for his second run. Oh, look at that, over the box. Yeah, tweaking into the extended kind of bowl corner. There's the alley-oop bar to table through the bubble, heading around the corner there, around that pocket.
Yeah, I love that down whip, how far away he is from his bike. He just lays it out to the side, lets it dangle right there. The old dangler. Here we go, going over that can-can, a little bit of style. Ooh, okay. Popping that flare. Jack Clark. Some of these down whips we're seeing, are you guys catching that? Some of these down whips are just beautiful works of art right there.
Jack seems he seems in the zone today.
I feel like a lot of riders have been spending time looking at Dig Magazine right there. You get a nice fisheye, a downside whip on a bank. We're seeing that out here a lot more this year, and I gotta say, I'm all for it. Come on, Jack.
Yeah, nice.
Milking the clock right there, I like that.
Love that, slightly different from run one as well, so props to Jack getting it done. And we'll wait and see where his score comes in at. We go back though to Ernest Zibold now, and we will see if he switches it up, gets a bit more tech like we were saying, or whether he goes for much the same approach and goes for that big park kind of style.
In the chat, I want you to type 180 if you think we're gonna see a big old lofty 180 at a Z-Bowls. You haven't had a chance to see him do it before. It doesn't matter if his takeoff and landing are steep as can be. Ooh, that was nice right there. Beautiful, laying it over. All right, we got 1 at 180, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got them all in the chat. Andy's right in 1800. We got a 540 in there. We're gonna see what Z-Bowls pulls out. I'd love to see him come in fakey, maybe with a buzzer beater. Right now, though, we're focused on that tail whip, dropping back in. Lori DS says 180. Evan Smedley is calling Alien Ant Farm, but what do we got? 23 seconds. Come on, Z-Bowls with the big no-handed backflip. Latvia is being very well represented. Bold statement on the bike and with those white pants. Let's see if he can put this exclamation point. Where's he going? Ooh, 3, I thought we were gonna see it. We thought we were gonna see it.
Waiting with bated breath here.
All right.
Okay.
I don't want to take away from his riding because it was impressive and it was awesome. And Z-Bowls, I wasn't trying to call you out on the 180. I was just trying to compliment your riding because not many people can do a big old nasty 180 in the middle of their run. So I just tip my hat in your direction, sir. Just take note, give the people what they want.
Yeah.
We want that 180.
And interesting to see Ernest as well, kind of sticking with that park style. So that's obviously his approach to this course. Let's see what Jacob Thiem's got as he comes back in with the foot jam there as well. And then heads into the transition section. Yeah.
So even though we're not seeing a lot of streets per se in our runs out here, you also want to note that that actually stands out pretty strong, right? So we're going to see like the judges, especially in our last heat, if a lot of riders maybe wind up doing some more grinds or putting some of those street elements in there. Not that they could change their scores before, but I have a feeling we're going to start to see the likes of Matt Ray, maybe Boyd Hilder, stepping it up with some of those street aspects, and we might see the score reflected a little bit. Right now, Jacob on course, nollie bar spin. Going for that nose press up. on our gut face mural, looking back over the hip. Come on, Jacob, you got 5 seconds, smooth can-can step through. 360 tabletop, hopping on out.
Tyler Richardson saying Thiem is legit, yeah. Crushing this course out here. Great second run. And we have one final rider, Arje Levinson. Just 18 years old, like we were saying earlier, his second time at Simple Session. He made a big statement on his first. Lots of people watching this kid right now.
Yeah, super hyped. Shout out Shad Johnson, S&M Bikes, Chris Moeller, the building. REA right now on course, toothpick hangover. I had a chance to meet REA many years ago when he was a young teenager, and he lives BMX. I mean, it's been his life, and the fact that now seeing him getting a chance to call his riding and runs at Simple Session 10 years later is a dream come true for him and for me, because it's all about the BMX community and family, and being a part to be on someone's journey, James, is unreal to see, because you got to be so committed. You're not just checking in, you're not visiting. All of us here, we do this is our life, and we're focused. And right now, REA over the box in that 360 tail whip, hanging up just a little bit, but he's got 18 seconds.
Yeah, time to link together the final things. He comes over the spine. What are we going to see right at the end? Yeah, nice no-hander. Over 5 seconds to go. And yeah, we get that little bar spin back in. Coming up fakey on that volcano. Must be so scary as well, because actually up top there is, he made that look so chill, but up top is so compact up there. To be riding backwards and then popping like that kind of blind in.
Yeah.
Big props.
As we watch some of our many highlights, I'm going to take a moment and give a big shout out to Drew Bezanzin. You guys know him as one of the best BMX riders of all time, and also 5-time Simple Session champion. That's right, 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drew, this is your event. We all wait for you to return. If you want to get some inspiration, go follow Drew Bezanzin on Instagram. He unfortunately had an accident a few years back, and he's mentally focused and pushing forward to get back out on the bike. Drew, we think of you all the time. We cheer you on, and you inspire us all. And you definitely are the king of Simple Session. We love you, and we're all thinking of you. Much love, Drew. But right now we're looking at the highlights. The white pants, the backflip, no hand flying, Latvia's Ernest Zibolds. That tabletop there, laying her over on the underside. Ooh, buttery 360 bar spin to flatty.
Yes, such a powerful rider. And interesting, be really interesting to see if he makes the finals, what his approach is then. Maybe we see that 180. Seeing some highlights of Jacob Thiem right now. Lots of love for Jacob in the chat. Thanks to everyone getting involved today. There's the 540. Yeah, nice pushing that out. Great shape on that. And then Arje Levinson. Going through, there's that whip on the bubble. That Smith up to a 180 out off the hubba.
Ooh, and then kicking. Yeah, little topping right there on the Sunday. Nose bonk to 180. It's so cool, again, seeing REA just riding around, having a blast here at Simple Session. Any street obstacle comes his way. All right, we have one heat remaining. You guys have all been giving it a shout out to our riders in the chat, saying that they might be on top of the podium. We're gonna see where the scores sit before we introduce and we get ready for our last heat, because as they say, the last can sometimes certainly be the best. But right now, Jack Clark with the magic number, you know, that 69.12, and Zibolds as well, flip that around, getting that 69 treatment. 0.05, 6, and 7. Jacob Thiem is going to be on that bubble spot. So Jacob is sitting there. He is going to be biting his nails as we work through jam number 13, because we are only taking the top 15 into finals tomorrow.
Yeah, it does mean that Dean Florian in 11th place, he can chill watching this final jam. He's definitely in, alongside Stu Chisholm, Jordan Godwin, Miller Temple, Katie Ozawa, Jack Clark, Levi Vietman, Santiago Laverde, Jose Sedano, Dylan Hesse, and Jordan Clark currently sat in first place. So our final four to drop today in Jam 13, Joji Mizogaki, Rim Nakamura, Matt Ray, and Boyd Hilda. What a stacked final jam this is, Daryl.
Yeah, Joji got second place last year. Rim Nakamura has won this event in 2020. Matt Ray has gotten second on the podium, and Boyd has won this 2 times as well. We are witnessing some riders who have a lot of experience here at Simple Session. This is our qualifier 13th and final heat as we get ready to bring in Joji Musaki. Here we go, 60 seconds are on the clock. Again, the format, you know it by now. 2 runs, they both count, and there was a 360 triple bar spin. And then he backs that up with some style, floating a one-hand, one-footer. So even our riders who are a little more style-focused can't hold that triple bar spin against him, because he's got it both so far as he's working through those 40 seconds.
Yeah, turned so many heads last year, literally first time at Simple Session. Bangs out a silver medal, just blew minds really. And yeah, this bigger course, I've been really excited to see what he's going to bring to it, because it was a more compact, kind of smaller scale course last year. I know this arena setting is going to work well for him. So Joji just making it work for this first 40 seconds. So far, T-Bog up to take it over to the street section. Ice pick on the A-frame rail.
Yeah, and I think to highlight that ice pick he threw in there quickly. We really haven't seen a rider jump up and then hit the ice pick afterwards. Normally they were focusing a little more on the street section and then hitting that ice. So it's a little attention to detail like that the judges really do pay attention to. I know judges can sometimes get a lot of heat, they can get a lot of pressure, but they put so much focus into what they do, and anytime a rider questions a judge, they've got all their things to say, hey, this is why I put you here, and I really have never heard a judge not have a good kind of argument or justification for their choice. All right, our second rider of the heat, he is an Olympian 2 times, Tokyo 2020, Paris 2024 games. As I mentioned, in 2020, he won Simple Session. He is dropping in and would love to be in the final, having a chance to be on podium, making it 2-time Simple Sessions champ. Rima Nakamura. Little fun fact about Rimu, his name is actually named after the BMX wheel, because his dad owns a bike shop and is a BMXer himself.
I did not know that was why. That's incredible.
So it's a little Snapple fun fact right there for Remo. BMX has been in his blood from birth as well, and it's so cool seeing so many riders like K-Rob Jr. and Rimu who have grown up just BMX handlebars in their hands. So right now, 25 seconds to go. Nakamura, nose press, transfer over, coming back at us, downside with the double 360 tail whip. We see a nice meaty air from Nakamura. He's got those big blasting quarter pipe airs. Nice to see maybe in his second run, him just laying over, saying, hey, take a look at this bottom bracket. Japan Air just flying through the sky. I'd like to see something like that out of Nakamura.
Yeah, Amori saying Rim Airlines incoming. Definitely bringing that. Definitely bringing that. Such a great rider. And we move over. Speaking of great riders, I mean, everyone out here is so accomplished. But Matt Ray, someone who actually last year at Simple Session, he came 3rd, but with his first run in the finals, it really hadn't gone his way. He was so on the back foot, and we were saying, if there's someone you don't want to count out to perform under pressure, it's Matt Ray, and he just turned it on, got himself the bronze medal, and we'd love to see him in the finals again, taking that kind of alley-oop 270 in, going the hard way.
Everyone in the comments all day long has been saying that this could potentially be Matt Ray's course, and I got to agree with them. He's such a well-rounded rider. known for the streets, but you see how comfortable he is in the park section. I'm going to give a big shout out to Ron Bonner and the Sabrosa Shadow Conspiracy family down in Florida, who is cheering him on right now, along with Ryan Scher, kicking that opposite tail whip to the pedals. Matt Ray smooth with that Smith to 360. Became a father a few years ago as well, and I know that that has fueled his motivation and inspiration for riding. Phenomenal dad out there going backwards with that crooked grind. 10 seconds, Ray, come on. Yes! So we see, keep in mind, he had that Smith to 180 bar, but he also had the big moves over the box jump and kept that momentum with the Superman. I know that might not necessarily be a crazy 1080 with multiple bar spins and all of this, but he had the power over the box. He showed it control. Some of the other riders who are a little more focused in one discipline or the other, maybe aren't clearing the box all the way and then have a little difficulty in the street.
Yeah, former winner of BMX Park and BMX Street at Simple Session is now to drop our final rider of jam number 13 and our BMX qualifications. Lots of hype and lots of excitement for what this guy's going to do. It's Boyd Hilder.
Yeah, always one to deliver on the hype, and the first rider, oh, Boyd. You got time. Come on, everyone, cheer him on. Let's go, Boyd. Let's get back on the horse. You see the tongue coming out, the smile on the face. But he was the first rider we saw utilize the shark fin where he jumped out and transferred. Oh, triple time. So Boyd right now looking to make up for those 15 seconds, and he is back on it. Boom, getting that stylish foot plant right there, and the cannonball as he pushes that bike all the way out, taking all of his limbs off, grabbing the seat, and throwing it back under. What are you guys thinking about Boyd recovering? Foot jam Canadian style. Yes! Boyd trying to unlock street and park together on this course. Gap to double peg. Nose press 180 with the bar, and that is time for Hilder with an impressive recovery.
Yeah, an incredible recovery, really. From the fall that he'd had, we've talked about it today, that you just don't want to lose speed like that. You don't want to stop dead in the middle of this course because it's big. You've got to work hard to regain that speed again. But Boyd kind of just managing to get back in there. We'd love to see what that run looks like without the fall, with him just being able to keep that momentum going, because we know how fast he hits it. We head, though, back to the top of the list for Jam 13 for Joji Mizogaki from Japan.
Bar X up, and then there's that lofting floater again. I love seeing that 1 foot table over the box backwards, having some difficulty on both runs, hanging up just a touch. Recovers nicely. That was beautiful. 360 toboggan, dipping the bars. And I love the way that you see him just grab that pocket in the bowl corner and lean things over. Even the way he speed jumps the side of that spine. Look at that right there. That was one of the bigger airs we've seen off that spine.
Yeah, Joji linking it up right now over the volcano.
The one thing to note, at some contests, the qualifiers can sometimes act as a final if there could be a weather delay or something happens the next day, but we're indoors. We're in the arena right now, so most likely we are going to have the final, but riders like to be on that top spot. So we're seeing Joji really work the whole clock the whole time. He wasn't saying, hey, I can just kind of coast and chill a little bit. Wants to make that statement and be in that top spot, because qualifying leads to your seeding for the finals, and if you go last in finals, you've got a clear advantage. You know how much to put on, how much risk versus reward to play with.
We move now to Rim Nakamura coming in for his second run. He became the first Japanese athlete to earn a BMX medal at X Games when he got a silver in Minneapolis, and also the second youngest in history at the same time. This guy is no stranger to performing under pressure in contests. Dropping in on that big Red Bull bank and heading for the box. That flip looked like double, maybe triple bar. Hard to see with him being so high up. He was in the lights there. And there's the whip on the bubble as well. Comes round. Yeah, beautiful stuff.
Alternative Co cheering. Alternative Co cheering Rim on as he is pouring it on. I can't believe he's only 38 seconds to go on his run. He's put so many combos in the first half, James. Come on, Rim. Yeah, as we mentioned many a time, Simple Session Champion 2020, right before the world got turned upside down. They were one of the last events to happen, and Rimu had a chance to hold top honors throughout 2020, and he'd love to do it again tomorrow in the final. Toboggan over that hip, cutting that corner. Goes into that double peg coming down. Nice ice pick. Getting to end of that flat rail, and Nakamura getting that thing done.
So final 2 riders to drop 4 qualifiers today. Second runs coming up for Matt Ray and Boyd Hilda. 2 riders taking a very different approach to the course, both very unique and creative in their own ways. And both no stranger to a podium. Hoping they can replicate that this weekend by making the top 15 and heading through to tomorrow.
This is what we've all wanted to see, the Massachusetts rider, Matt Ray, nice 270 drop in, the finesse coming down, Northeast represent. Gonna give that shout out to Circuit BMX, Chris Childs, Vic, Cara. Watching right now as the Northeastern looking to go big with that no-hander, pinching the seat, taking the arms off. We're seeing a little bit of a different approach out here. I like that lofty 270 up. We haven't seen riders really utilize that. That's really surprising, James.
And it's worth mentioning as well, the judges are looking for things like style and creativity as well. It isn't just we're looking for bangers, you know? It's looking for people that are going to hit this course in a slightly different way and hit it with different tricks too. That's getting rewarded.
That Smith to 360, such a difficult trick, along with that 540 bar spin. And I love to see how many people in the BMX family are watching and know how difficult that can be. You're in that Smith position, you got your back wheel up, your front peg is down, and to get that spin off, Matt Ray makes it look so easy because he's got that powerful pop.
So we come to our final rider of the qualifications today. Yak saying in the chat just before, so impressive how he recovered from that fall to get that speed back up and just get going again. Let's hope we don't have a fall in run number 2, because we'd love to see what he can do if he can just keep that momentum going. So Boyd Hilda drop in to round things out for today.
Here we go. Yes!
Oh, so smooth with it as well.
I believe that was off the shark fin, the only rider we've seen rotate out of that shark fin. Look how fast he's going. Ooh, that was beautiful, so right lofty. There. Work of art. I know Owen Clegg loved to see that dangler after that fast plant. Double tail whip going up for Hilder over double peg grind. Yes! Pressing the front wheel right in that sweet spot. Talk about visiting Estonia in style. Back at us as he just hits that front peg and lets that back end up. Whoa! Backflip, threading the needle. It looked like he was potentially going for a Smith grind. Either way, he was able to keep it going. Both tires hitting on top. Pressing that wheel, crooked grind, coming down. And that is time right there for Boyd Hilder.
Yeah, foot down on that tooth hanger at the end, but that's the only place you can really pull apart that run. That's not going to hurt him. That is what he wanted to do. And great to see. So much love for that. That backflip back onto the hubber, I can't believe that he did that. I was kind of like, you couldn't see with the perspective whether he was going into the bank. I was not expecting to see him land back on that hubber and then take it through. A very different line. Checking out some of the highlights from our final jam, number 13 of BMX Qualifiers.
And as we watch this, I want to keep 2 things in mind. Yes, I'm seeing in the comments still no Abubakas, but secondly, the judges do not take a lot of time in between runs. This is such a difficult thing to do. The pressure that is on. They got to quickly write notes down. They got to think about things. And yes, there are 4 people up there, but all scores are going to count. We don't throw away the high or low like at some events, some other events that are out there. That's not a critique of them. That's not putting it down. We have 4 judges. All of their unique voices are heard. And they're not there saying, hey, what did you give? I'm going to give the same number. They want to have their own unique voice. So they might say, hey, was that 3 or 4, right? Bar spins, whatever it may be, right? and then they have to figure out that number, and there's not a lot of time to do it. Judging is one of the hardest things. It's a ton of pressure. James, I know you're phenomenal when it comes to being on the mic, and I know you go to a lot of events. I know that we've both been asked to judge a lot of things and happily turn it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, thank you.
Oh man, I don't need that
No,
pressure.
thank you.
I do not need that pressure. Olaf as well in the chat. Really good point, saying if this is quali, I can't imagine what tomorrow is going to be like. And it's a great point because the format changes. So for today, the two runs, both runs, as you all know if you've been watching this all the way through with us, thank you if you have, both runs count. So the riders need to make sure that they throw down for both of their 1 minute runs. Tomorrow, we go to best run count. So we might see riders get a first kind of solid run on the boards, or, you know, they might actually drop their first run and then do what Matt Ray did last year and go, well, I'm going to pull out all the stops because I've got nothing to lose in this second run. So yeah, it's going to be incredible. There's definitely going to be the standard lifted tomorrow, and from the standard we've seen today, I'm excited. I'm frothing for this.
One other thing to add on to what you just said, James, is the riders are also going to have more time to practice on the course tomorrow. Oh, take a look at this backflip. Let's watch.
That was incredible.
It looked like he was potentially going for Smith. Maybe not. I don't want to call him out on it, but like regardless, he has the ability to do that, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah.
But they're going to have some more time to practice tomorrow, so we might see we're going to see more stuff in the finals. And look at this.
A switch up. Second place, Rim Nakamura with the 83.0. Matt Ray into fifth with the 72.50. Joji Mizogaki with the 69.45. When we head to that next screen, are we going to see Boyd Hilda in 13th place? Not quite as high as you'd expect maybe to see him, but he's in there, 67.15. And want to send big love to Stu Chisholm, making the cut on the bubble in 15th. Those are your top 15 right there going to tomorrow's finals. I am absolutely buzzing. What are your feelings for it?
Yeah, big ups to all of our riders who really pushed what it is to be a BMX and be a part of the 25th edition of Simple Sessions. So many different styles were out there, but I also want to give a big shout out to everyone watching on the chat and on YouTube. I got to tell you, it's been so fun for James and I to be connected with the BMX family out there. So many big pro riders, some of the best of all time. Jamie Bestwick is chiming in. We have Reed Stark in there as well. We have like just underground rippers, Evan Smedley. It's just a lot of fun for us. We appreciate and thank you guys for joining. We hope that you're going to be here for the final tomorrow. These top 15 that you can see in red on screen, they're going to be looking to turn it up a few notches. They're going to have more time to practice, look at different lines, go back to the drawing board, see how it worked. And I think really their biggest challenge is going to be to not party too hard tonight, right? Because that's what Estonia is about. When you guys come next year and join us, you're going to see the party and what it really is to be here and be a part of Simple Session.
Yeah, absolutely. A stacked day tomorrow at Simple Session from 12:30. We have the skateboarding finals for, well, basically the sister session skateboarding. It's straight finals for them. We've also then from 2:30 got the men's finals for skateboarding, and then from 6 o'clock myself and Darryl will be back in the booth for the BMX finals. Thank you so much for being with us. We hope you join us then, and peace and love until tomorrow.